Fierce Husband Chapter 1. In the dark adobe house, sitting alone on the Kong staring at the dilapidated beams on the roof, I don't know what to think. On the edge of the Kong, 8 mahogany boxes were stacked in 2 rows, with 4 in one row, making the originally small room even more crowded. There was also a big red on the Kong wall. Under the man's was a red quilt, but the red color still couldn't hide the dilapidation of the house. From time to time, news came in from outside, but the man ignored it. Tired of tilting his neck, he simply lay down, with a lifeless appearance, as if he was just in a daze. Time passed in his daze, and he was hungry, but he was too lazy to get off the Kong to find something to eat. For so long, no one has come in to look for him. Just when he was about to be in a daze until the end of the world, a sharp cry came from outside. "Brother, the Shao family is making trouble again, hurry up. Mother is going to be off." A fat woman shouted from outside the yard, her sharp voice frowned. In the dirty yard, Wang Shijing, who was wearing a black one-eye mask, put down the bamboo strips in his hand and stood up. The woman, Wang Guozhaodi, Wang Shijing's second younger brother and sister, shouted again, "Mother told you to also call your family. Those are his family members, he has to get over." At this point, the woman's eyes were naked. Disgusted, and since she came, she never looked at Wang Shijing, whom she called Big Brother. Wang Shijing ignored him. He said to the 2 children hiding aside, "You are at home." Then he walked out. "Hey! Big Brother, you call him. There are so many people in their house, what's the use of you going alone?" After saying that, Wang Guozhao shouted, "The one inside, come out. Look at you. What kind of calamity have you done to our old Wang family? Come out. Shut up." The man let out a low growl. Brother Wang Guozhao was so frightened that he immediately said bitterly, "Brother, what do you mean, I'm still wrong? If it weren't for him, how could our family be so uneasy? My brother Zheng was disturbed by him and didn't even go to class." Wang Shijing's remaining eye stared at the woman coldly, and the words behind the woman were stuck in her mouth. Wang Shijing was tall and strong, with a black eye patch on his left eye. Even so, the eye patch could not cover the deep scar that ran from his forehead to his chin. The blindfold and the scar made Wang Shijing look ugly and gloomy. Even his own parents and brothers, no one dared to look at him, let alone the big daughter-in-law, the little girl and the children who were scared to cry by him. They are. With a touch, the 2 children who were huddled at the door of the kitchen were so frightened that their bodies bounced. Wang Shijing turned around, and Wang Guozhaodi muttered in a low voice, "I still think I'm dead." The man lightly kicked the door open, and said to Xiao Yunan, who had a bad face, "There's someone from your family, right there." Glancing at Wang Shijing and the fat and ugly woman, Xiao Yunan said blankly, "I'm hungry, do you have anything to eat?" Wang Shijing lifted his foot and walked towards the kitchen, and Xiao Yunan followed, and said rudely, "I'll take it myself." The hand was dirty. Wang Shijing was also unflattering, and went into the kitchen room and pointed to the bowl on the stove, "There are 2 nests in it. Whoa whoa. The folds between Xiao Yunan's eyebrows can trap mosquitoes." He stepped forward and opened the bowl. If he hadn't been so hungry, he would have thrown the bowl and left. "This wowo is made of cornmeal, but definitely don't think it's the kind of golden, sweet corn wodo. At first glance, the black and yellow color makes people think that it is definitely not food, but some kind of excrement. Nothing else?" Xiao Yunan asked hopelessly. "No more." The unwavering tone mercilessly shattered Xiao Yunan's hope. Xiao Yunan wanted to grab the other party's collar and curse, "You big man can only get some of this stuff to eat." Taking a deep breath, taking another deep breath, Xiao Yunan grabbed a nest and gritted his teeth, "Pour me a glass of water." Wang Shijing turned around. "You wash your hands first." Wang Shijing paused, opened the cover of the water tank, scooped a ladle of water, and handed it to Xiao Yunan. Xiao Yunan looked at the other's dirty hands, which were sticking to the soil, snatched the water scoop, took a few steps and splashed the water, then scooped another one by himself, swallowing the 2 wolves. The 2 children, a boy and a girl, who were huddled in the corner outside the door kept peeking at Xiao Yunan. The older boy hugged his sister tightly and pursed his lips. The girl's face was full of fear, biting her mouth to cry. Xiao Yunan, who was in a bad mood, didn't pay special attention to the two children. He was very bad now. "Brother, hurry up." Xiao Yunan threw the water ladle into the tank. Before the man could say a word, he burst out, "Call your mother. I'm going to vomit when I hear your voice. If I call my mother to be hacked to death. Believe it or not." His roar not only made the fat woman's body tremble 3 times, but even the surrounding villagers were frightened, not to mention the two children who were always afraid. Wang Shijing's brows wrinkled, and Wang Guozhao, who was startled, opened his mouth and began to howl, "Oh! This is bullying people as soon as you enter the door. Brother! Look at the good man you have married. You guys!" The brain-piercing magic sound came to an abrupt end, and the villagers' onlookers stepped back in exclamation. Xiao Yunan walked towards the woman step by step. The woman was trembling all over. When she saw what was flying past her ears, she screamed and ran away. That speed is definitely not what her figure should have. Xiao Yunan did not stop because of the woman's departure. As he walked out of the yard, the surrounding villagers dispersed in a rush. Xiao Yunan picked up the hatchet on the ground, turned his head to look at Wang Shijing, whose muscles were tense in the yard, and said irritably, "Go and have a look." Wang Shijing looked back at the two frightened children. "You two go into the house." The boy with weak legs hugged his sister, who was crying with fright, and entered the house. Seeing that they closed the door, Wang Shijing walked out. When Wang Shijing locked the courtyard door, Xiao Yunan said directly, "Lead the way." Wang Shijing walked to Li Jing's house in silence, and Xiao Yunan took a step away from him and said, "I've been stumped for the past few days, and I just figured out what's going on. I'll fix it at my house in a while, and you'll fix it at yours. If we can't figure it out, we'll break up, or leave as you wish." "What the is this shit?" The last sentence Xiao Yunan said to himself. Wang Shijing stopped and turned around. Xiao Yunan looked up, and the flames in his eyes hadn't disappeared. Since coming back with this face, few people dare to look at him directly, even friends who used to be close friends are inevitably afraid. Xiao Yunan's direct gaze at least made Wang Shijing a little more relaxed. In this marriage it is not only Xiao Yunan who is irritated, but Wang Shijing has not shown it. Men can't fully understand Xiao Yunan's words, but they can also figure out what they mean. The place where he lives is already far away. After passing Xiao Yunan just now, no one dared to come forward. The man simply spread his words and said, "I know you are also forced. If you want to leave, I will go with you and leave, I don't want anything you brought." There was a moment of silence, "But if you are willing to stay, as long as you don't embarrass my two children, I will work hard to support my family and support you. I don't want to make you rich, but I won't starve you or freeze you. I just broke up, and I haven't had time to buy anything. When these things are done, I'll buy everything that needs to be done." When he said these words, the man's face remained expressionless, and there was no wave in his one eye. But just these few words made Xiao Yunan hold back a lot of fire. People who have been divorced in this world are much more miserable than those who have been divorced. Just based on this sentence, Xiao Yunan at least has a good impression on the man. Rubbing his face hard and sighing, Xiao Yunan looked at the tall man who was more than a head and a half taller than him and said, "I'll talk about you and me when I get back. I think I'm married to you, my family's I can ignore it at all, how about you? You should be filial piety here. If I stay, I won't give them face." The man turned around and raised his feet, "I've already separated. I'll take care of it, I'll take care of it, I shouldn't, I don't care. Wish you could." Xiao Yunan also didn't plan to let the man make a promise now. He didn't know the man at all. Now that the matter in front of you is over. Before reaching Li Jing's house, Xiao Yunan knew where Li Jing's house was without a man to lead the way. Looking at the yard surrounded by 3 floors and 3 floors, and the noise wafting from far away, as long as you are not blind or deaf, you will know where the incident happened. Xiao Yunan still had the hatchet in his hand, and the man didn't want to come back. Some of the surrounding villagers saw the two and immediately shouted, "Ishii is here! Ishii is here!" Among the onlookers, the women hurriedly avoided, and those with children hurriedly pulled the children away, and soon the crowd gave way. Two young men who looked about the same age as Wang Shijing hurried over. They first glanced at Xiao Yunan, who was holding a hatchet. One of them pulled Wang Shijing aside and said in a low voice and anxiously, "Brother Ishijing, there is a shouting inside. Let you quit your relatives and pay for the money, you have to be tough. You have already married this person, and they don't care no matter how much they make trouble. Auntie and their hearts are completely biased. If the old aunt wants you to divorce your wife, the patriarch may also. I won't let you decide, you have to care about yourself. Don't be pinched by them anymore." Wang Shijing glanced at the impatient Xiao Yunan, and said lightly, "I know it." The man also glanced at Xiao Yunan and hesitated, then, "Do you still want it?" Wang Shijing said, "If he wants to stay, I will." The man wanted to say something, but someone inside was already shouting, "Wang Shijing. Your mother is going to be killed by anger, are you a turtle? Why don't you come in quickly?" Some of the villagers were watching the excitement, some shook their heads and sighed for Wang Shijing, some had nothing to do with themselves, and some mocked. Xiao Yunan didn't wait for Wang Shijing, he went over first. The hatchet in his hand made the crowd around him hurrah back. Wang Shijing took a photo of the young man and followed him in stride. As soon as Xiao Yunan entered the yard, before he could see the person clearly, someone pointed at him and scolded him, "You mortal star. If you don't enter the door, you will harm our old Wang's family, and you will not be able to live in peace when you enter the door. If you can't afford a daughter-in-law like you, get out of here immediately." Immediately, another shrew's voice interjected, "Mother Wang, you are a shameless old man. Who was the one who begged my family Yunan to come to the door? Now your family is admitted to Tong Xinglang, so don't want my family." Yunan. Yunan, my son, your life is so hard. It's all my mother's blindness, I believe they are kind people. The old woman sat down on the ground and started another wave of howling, "I was begging to marry you, but if I was admitted to Tong Xinglang, I would ruin the marriage. She also said that you were married to the head of the family, and the mother agreed to let you marry the widower, but the result was but he is a poor and sour ghost who has split up his family. Come and see how the old Wang family bullies and deceives people. Look at how the old Wang family's Tong Xinglang abandoned the scum and cheated people and cheated marriages. Our Wang family is wronged." Wang Shijing's wife, the old lady, didn't want to be left behind, she sat on the ground and began to howl, "My son broke off the marriage because the Xiao family cheated. The boss proposed this separation, and I am the mother. How can you not agree? Bah! That's not because your Wang family poured dirty water on my family to break off the marriage. My son's 8 characters have never changed. Your separation of the family is simply making my son suffer with your boss. Wang Laohua, do you want to compensate me today? Xiaojia village will never give up on the loss of the Xiao family." Xiao Yunan's eldest brother and the villagers of Xiaojia village who came with him immediately rolled up their sleeves and prepared to fight, but in fact, Mrs. Wang, who was in the wrong, also took advantage of the fact that this was the village's territory and killed the Wang family to stealthily change the characters. 100 taels. Otherwise, we will let everyone outside know that the Tongxing Lang of the Wang family dislikes the poor and loves the rich, and abandons the scum. This is Xiao Yunan's brother, Xiao Dahu. 100 taels. It's not worth the money to sell your family's Death Star to a big family to be a concubine. When she heard the money, the old lady Wang jumped up from the ground. Mrs. Wang is considered a relatively wealthy farmer whose income is only 20 or 30 taels a year without food or drink, so don't blame her for jumping up. Wang Tianyan, the second child of the Wang family, shouted over there, "Big brother! What are you still doing? Your Yu family is going to force our mother and father to death." Wang Shijing's father, Wang Dali, squatted in the corner and remained silent, turning a blind eye to the chaos at the scene. The other party mentioned by the two parties, Wang Jisong, the third child of the Wang family, left home 3 days ago on the grounds of being a member. Even he, the elder brother, did not show up. The Wang clan is a big family in Xiushui village, but Xiushui village is a medium-sized village with mixed surnames. Xiaojia village is a big village with the Xiao clan as the largest family. Its history is more than 100 years old than that of Xiushui village. The old lady Xiao's family in the village is considered to be a middle-class family. If it wasn't for Wang Jisong's reading skills, Mrs. Wang's family in Xiushui village is also a big family. In addition, Mrs. Wang gave the Xiao family a lot of money for this marriage, and the Xiao family would not consider this family at all relatives. After all, the Wang family was more at fault for the whole thing. Li Jing from Xiaojia village and the patriarch of the Xiao clan had personally come here before. If it weren't for the face of the clan, plus how he couldn't let the people of this village suffer in this village, Li Jingzhao of Xiushui village really didn't want to take care of the Wang family. Wang Wenhe, the patriarch of the Wang clan, couldn't let his clansmen be bullied, even though he knew that this was done by Mrs. Wang's family, he couldn't let the people of Xiaojia village make trouble here. Although Li Jingzhao Zheng is the patriarch of the Zhao family, but at this time, the village naturally has to hold a group. Just when Zhao Jing didn't know how to solve this matter, a loud noise caused the shrew in the yard to stop scolding the street abruptly. Picking up a table corner from the ground, Xiao Yunan said apologetically to the startled Li Jing, "I'm sorry, Uncle Li Jing, I wanted to try this knife to see if it's sharp, but I didn't expect it to be really sharp. I'll give it to you tomorrow." Lose a table. Li Jing looked at the hatchet in Xiao Yunan's hand, then looked at the corner of the table in his other hand, and swallowed, "No, this table is old too." Yunan. The old lady Xiao got up from the ground and wiped her face, which had no tears at all, and was about to lean towards her son. Xiao Yunan raised her hand to stop it, "Don't move. I'll talk about it later. It's clear what's coming." Yunan. Why are you talking to your mother? Xiao Dahu's face sank immediately, and Mrs. Xiao's face darkened. Fierce Husband, Chapter 2. Xiao Yunan gave the man beside him a look of, "You'll settle it over there," snorted coldly at Mrs. Xiao and Xiao Dahu, and said, "Don't be here looking for justice for me." Back then, in order to save the third child of the Wang family, it's a dead skin crying and begging for you to marry me to the third child of his family. But if you are really good for me, it is impossible to agree. If I were a woman, they cried and begged, you agreed, and I respect you for being kind. But I am a man, and you are scolding me to agree, not for their 50 taels of silver. The surrounding boom exploded, and it turned out that 50 taels of silver were given. This is almost 2 or 3 years' worth of income for an ordinary farmer. This old lady Wang's family is really rich. Xiao Yunan. Xiao Dahu wanted to strangle this younger brother to death. Who gave you the guts to talk nonsense here? He was surprised. This younger brother who never dared to fight back, how dare he be so tough today? Xiao Yunan raised the knife again, and another corner of the table fell to the ground. The ferocity on his face made Xiao Dahu, who wanted to go up and beat someone, take a step back, and also made the Wang family who wanted to speak up shut up. The timid are afraid of the daring, and the daring are afraid of death. To deal with this kind of person, Xiao Yunan, who is highly educated, can only use this method to solve it. Xiao Yunan has never been afraid of causing trouble since he was a child. When facing these unreasonable people, he wanted to vent his frustrations even more. You sold me for 50 taels, and now you're going to sell me again for 100 taels. It's obviously a who wants to build a torii for yourself, don't say it's for me. Xiao Yunan. You are itchy again, aren't you? Mrs. Xiao screamed. The knife fell again, Xiao Yunan said ruthlessly, I have already given my life back to you. I, Xiao Yunan, have nothing to do with the Xiao family since the day I left the Xiao family. Mrs. Xiao, how did I get to the Xiao family? If you want to live, if you want your man, your son, and your daughter to live, don't provoke me again. Otherwise, we will die. My life is worth 4 lives for your Xiao family. Xiao Yunan's ruthlessness and the name, mother, broke Xiao Dahu, Mrs. Xiao and the villagers of Xiaojia village who came with him. Xiao Yunan was not like this before. An old man from Xiaojia village couldn't help but say, Yunan, why are you talking to your mother and your eldest brother? Your mother raised you not to make you so unfilial. She's not kind, why should I be filial? My business is your shit. You. The old man's face turned pale with anger. Xiao Yunan turned to the bluish old lady Xiao and Xiao Dahu again, you came back to make trouble because the Wang family resigned from the relatives, because the one who resigned from the Wang family was a Tong Xinglang. This time, the trouble is because Wang Shijing split up, and will be with the family. I have lost my relationship with that Tong Xinglang, and I will not be able to benefit your family in the future. Asking the Wang family for 100 taels is to use me to defraud some more money. I am not afraid of being embarrassed. If you make trouble again, I will go to the yamen tomorrow. Drum. Mrs. Xiao shuddered for a while, and then she was about to sit on the ground with an ouch. Xiao Yunan immediately said to Li Zheng, Uncle Li Zheng, please go to the county government with me, I will sue them. Xiao Yunan. Mrs. Xiao and Xiao Dahu said at the same time, and Mrs. Xiao didn't dare to sit on the ground and splash on the ground. Don't you get out of here. Xiao Yunan screamed. You. Xiao Dahu pointed at Xiao Yunan sternly. Xiao Yunan immediately said, Uncle Li Zheng, please lend me a pen and paper, I want to write a decision. Ishii's family. Li Zheng, who did not know the inside story, didn't want to see Xiao Yunan and the Xiao family make trouble to this point. Originally, the Wang family didn't care about this matter. The man who had been silent for a while said, Uncle Zhao, listen to him. Wang Shijing opened his mouth, Li Zheng looked at the two of them, sighed, and asked his son to take out the pen, ink, paper and inkstone, and Xiao Yunan said to the mother and son, today we wrote the decision, and since then, the Xiao family and I have nothing to do, whether I live or die has nothing to do with the Xiao family. Xiao Yunan, don't think you'll be hard-hearted when you marry someone, and you'll cry in the future. Xiao Dahu really wanted to kill Xiao Yunan, but this time, he was really stealing chicken. Xiao Yunan sneered, I cry to death and it has nothing to do with you. If I don't do anything wrong, I won't be afraid of ghosts. Xiao Dahu, if you want your Xiao family to live in peace, don't mess with me. You want an official and son-in-law so much, so marry Xiao Zhen to the third child of the Wang family. What? Ao Xiao Yunan, you're getting 1,000 knives. This kind of words can't be said nonsense in this era, and the old lady Xiao also pointed to her daughter to marry a big family. When he rushed forward, he was about to arrest Xiao Yunan, but Xiao Yunan avoided and sneered, if it's not your own, you can sell it casually. You can put a drug and send it to someone else's house, and you can protect your own. As soon as these words came out, everyone in the audience was shocked, and even those from Xiaojia village were shocked. Xiao Dahu's face was full of fear, and Mrs. Xiao immediately forgot to sprinkle. Wang Shijing frowned and stared at Xiao Yunan. Yunan, what's not one's own? What's addicted, you clarify. The old Xiao family immediately asked sternly. Xiao Yunan only said, if you want to know what's going on, take them back and ask. Xiao Yunan. Don't talk nonsense. Xiao Dahu didn't dare to look at the eyes of the villagers. Xiao Yunan showed a smile that made Xiao Dahu tremble. He pointed to his head, I remember it clearly. Or, call the old man Xiao over, let's be a confession. As soon as these words came out, Mrs. Xiao grabbed Xiao Dahu again and cried, Dahu, let's go back, he doesn't recognize us, we don't recognize him either. Just take it as if I didn't give birth. Get over this bastard. Hey! You don't have the ability to give birth to me. Xiao Yunan's counterattack made Mrs. Xiao and Xiao Dahu's faces pale, and neither of them dared to make trouble anymore. At this point, the relationship between Xiao Yunan and the Xiao family is already clear at a glance. The eyes of Xiao's mother and son who came from Xiaojia village were wrong. The old man had no intention of supporting Xiao's mother and son here. He gritted his teeth and said, a shameful thing. Take them back to the village. Wait. Decision letter. With so many pairs of eyes staring, plus there is a ghost in my heart, and the old man of the Xiao family watching, the two sides signed a decision to sever the relationship, in triplicate, one for Xiao Yunan, one for Mrs. Xiao, and one for the old man. Taking the decision book, he glanced at the satisfied Xiao Yunan with complicated eyes. The old man apologized to Zhao Lizhen, took away the people from Xiaojia village, and took away the Xiao family's mother and son at the same time. The people from the Xiao family left over there, and the Wang family immediately raised their chests and raised their heads. Madame Wang followed with a whimper, pointed at Xiao Yunan and scolded, Boss! If you don't leave this mourning family star today, my father and I will not have your son. This is from the Wang family. Xiao Yunan did not say a word, and sat leisurely beside the wooden table whose two corners had been cut off by him. Wang Shijing said unmoved, "You and my father forced me to marry. Now, I'm married, and it's mine, and I'll never stop." There was an uproar around, forcing Wang Shijing to take it. The full gossip ignited another wave of enthusiasm among the villagers. "You don't stop." Mrs. Wang's scream made Xiao Yunan want to cover his ears, as if he didn't hear the persecution in Wang Shijing's words. "Enough!" Li Zheng shouted angrily, and said to Mrs. Wang who wanted to splash, "There are no outsiders now, let's clear up the Shijing matter. Wang Dali, come here." Wang Shijing's father Wang vigorously shrank his neck, who had been huddled in the corner of the Wang family's home. Because of the eyes of Li Zheng and the villagers, he bravely stood up and walked over. Li Zhengqi hummed and said, "When you and your mother-in-law forced Ishii to marry this family, Ishii made it clear when they split up the family. If you want him to marry, he will split up the family. This is what you promised. Now I want Ishii. If you divorce your wife again, you are not only rude, but also shameless." Li knew about this, but he didn't spread it out. Now that Wang Shijing said it himself, Li Zheng didn't need to cover his face for the Wang family. These words were being said very seriously, and there was a burst of laughter around. Even Wang Wenhe, the patriarch of the Wang clan, felt his face burn in panic. "Li Zheng." Mrs. Wang asked the patriarch for help, and Li Zheng also looked at Wang Wenhe and said, "Patriarch Wang, if they hadn't quit their relatives for no reason, they wouldn't have made any trouble." Mrs. Wang interrupted Li Zheng and hurriedly said, "What is no reason, it's their 8 characters. Shut up." Wang Wenhe was also very impatient. If it wasn't for Wang Jisong, who was a good reader, he would not have come forward for Mrs. Wang's family. Wang Wenhe pointed to Mrs. Wang and said, "You are a shallow eyelid. Ishii has already split up, and he is continuing his relationship. As long as he is willing, he can marry anyone. It is clear before the split. Oh, what are you making a fuss about? And you?" Wang Wenhe pointed to Wang Dali again, "How did you act as the head of the family? Look at the bad things in your family. You are not afraid of affecting Jisong." As soon as Wang Jisong was mentioned, Mrs. Wang didn't dare to splash. Wang Wenhe sighed and turned to Wang Shijing, "Ishijing, you have thought about it clearly, do you want this family?" "Yes." Wang Shijing walked to Xiao Yunan's side, bent over and took the hatchet in his hand. "From now on, he will be my daughter-in-law and the mother of my child." "Mother, your head." Not wanting to cause more trouble, Xiao Yunan endured it. The eldest brother married the son of the Xiao family, but he is not from the Xiao family, so you shouldn't give gifts and things that went out of the family. A sour voice made the place that had been stunned by Wang Wenhe chaotic again. "Stand up." Wang Wenhe angrily said, "What's the matter with you? Second Wang, take care of your family." The one who spoke out was Wang Tianyan's wife, Wang Guozadi. Wang Tianyan pouted and muttered, "My daughter-in-law is right. The elder brother split up so many things, but he didn't know whose family he married." Wang Wenhe really wanted to hit someone, and Mrs. Wang heard it, "Yes." Immediately he straightened his back and said to the eldest son, "Ishijing, the one your mother wants you to marry is the son of the Xiao family, it's not something out of nowhere. It's not unreasonable to kiss our family. Either you quit. Go home, or keep him and return the land and house that were allocated. My royal family can't afford such a daughter-in-law." Wang Shijing's jaw tightened for a moment, and he said in his usual tone, "I don't care who he belongs to, I just call him Xiao Yunan, the daughter-in-law that I am marrying." The old lady Wang jumped 3 feet high, "If you want to keep him, don't recognize me as a mother." Wang Tianyan acted as a scumbag on the side. The elder brother split out so many fields to marry the son of the Xiao family. Wang Guozhouti echoed, "Didn't the Xiao family say that as long as our family gets married, we will give 20 taels of silver? We don't even give this silver, and we still share so many fields. He refuses to hand over his dowry. In this world, 20 taels of silver, aside from Wang Jisong's expenses, is enough for the rest of the Wang family to spend half a year." Wang Shijing looked at his mother, "I am endless. Mrs. Wang's fingers were about to touch Wang Shijing's nose. You keep handing over all that you have given out, and I will not have your son from now on. Xiao Yunnan sneered in his heart, the root cause is here. Originally, it would be good for a man with 2 oil bottles to be married. Why did the Wang family force Wang Shijing to divorce him? It turned out that he didn't get any money from him, and he should have wanted his dowry. Arrive. Xiao Yunnan looked at Wang Shijing with sympathy in his eyes. With so many family members on the stall, this person is unfortunate enough. The veins on Li Jing's forehead are sticking out. Mrs. Wang is also not ashamed. She didn't get the slightest benefit from this marriage, and she also lost money. How can this be? Li was about to speak, but one person spoke faster than him. It was Wang Wenhe. Wang Wenhe said, Ishijing family, what happened to your background is your Xiao family's business, and our Wang family doesn't care. Since you are married to Ishijing, you are Ishijing's. I ask you, this family, do you want it? Xiao Yunnan shrugged, marry the chicken with the chicken. Ba ba. Wang Wenhe nodded and looked at Wang Shijing. Ishijing, you are not going back for this kiss, right? He is my daughter-in-law. Wang Shijing's attitude was very firm. Wang Wenhe nodded again, and continued, although you have split up your family, it is also written in the deed that you will pay 500 yuan a month to support your parents, 200 yuan for Jisong to study, and you will also pay for the fields at home when the farming is busy. You need to help. When your sister gets married, you also have to pay a dowry. Now, if your mother wants you to divorce your wife, but if you don't want to, then you can return all the land you were allocated to. Similarly, you will no longer be burdened. Those, rewrite the deed of separation. Wang Wenhe has always been on Madame Wang's side, but this time, she was also harassed by Madame Wang's nonsense. His attitude seems to be helping old lady Wang, but in fact, he is helping Wang Shijing to get out of this family completely. That won't work. The first old lady Wang didn't agree, so she would lose several taels of silver a year, and she would also lose a fortune when her daughter got married. Li Jing couldn't help it, everyone is watching here. Do you think that Chuanxiu won't be able to marry in the future, and no one will dare to marry into your royal family? Wang Wenhe also held back his temper and said, if you don't want it, then you can't take back the fields of Ishijing. If Ishii has no fields, naturally he shouldn't bear those anymore. Jisong is already qualified to be tested for talents. If this matter spreads out, is not good for him. Even for Jisong, you have to give him a good reputation. That's it. Wang Dali, who has never been able to hit a fart with 3 sticks, suddenly spoke up, and Mrs. Wang's eyes widened. If not so many people were watching, she would definitely scratch the old man's paws. Wang Dali looked at Wang Shijing, but there was no guilt for his son in his cloudy eyes. In the future, you will live your own life, whether it is good or bad has nothing to do with the Wang family. Father. Wang Tianyan is not happy. If the eldest brother wants to ignore Tian, doesn't that make him tired again? He also pointed to the big brother to come back to work. Mrs. Wang was also unwilling. Without Wang Shijing, she would be without a strong labor force. She also pointed out that in the future, when the farming was busy, she would be more leisurely. In the past few years that Wang Shijing was not at home, she had worked very hard. Wang Shijing said lightly, in the years when I was away, our family had a good life. It's fine with me. I'm willing. Li Zhang and Wang Wenhe said in unison, then write the deed again. Patriarch. Old Lady Wang and Wang Tianyan also said in unison. Wang Wenhe glared at the two of them, who is in charge of your family? Everyone in Xiushui village knew that the Wang family was headed by Mrs. Wang, but no matter how stupid Mrs. Wang was, she would not dare to say that she was the head of the family in front of everyone. She gave Wang Dali a fierce look, and Mrs. Wang sat on the ground and began to howl, why am I so miserable? My son just married a wife and he doesn't want me as a mother, why am I so miserable? If mother doesn't want to, then I'll go to Jisong. As soon as Wang Shijing's words fell, Mrs. Wang stopped howling for a moment. Wang Shijing said again, it was because of him that he provoked. He is a scholar, so let him judge. Everyone in the county school knows if you want to make trouble. Wang Wenhe pointed at Mrs. Wang and said angrily. Thinking of her third son, who can bring great future and glory to the Wang family in the future, Mrs. Wang felt a little guilty. Upon seeing this, Wang Wenhe immediately began to write the deed. Mrs. Wang stopped making trouble, and Wang Tianyan didn't dare to make trouble. When the family split, the Wang family gave Wang Shijing 1 mu of paddy fields, 2 mu of dry land, 2 mu of sandy fields, an old house, a load of grain, and a few other sundries. To be able to give these is also digging her heart, which is also agreed by Wang Wenhe and Li Jing, pressing the old lady Wang. At the beginning, Mrs. Wang's idea was that the Xiao family would give 20 taels of silver anyway, and also promised to give Xiao Yunan a generous dowry, which was enough to make up for her losses. But now it's a real loss. If she doesn't take back the land and house that was allocated, Mrs. Wang will definitely not be able to eat or sleep. Wang Shijing was also ruthless and returned everything. It was just a few days after he separated, and he didn't eat much food. He used dry wood to cover the food he ate. Wang Wenhe and Li Jing both said that there is no need to be so precise, but Mrs. Wang didn't say anything. Wang Shijing said that she would return it all, and Mrs. Wang also took it all according to the order. All the things were returned, and Wang Shijing was completely separated from the family. Because it was equivalent to not being assigned any family property, Mrs. Wang and Wang Dali didn't need them to be old-aged, and he didn't need to worry about their younger siblings. To put it simply, Wang Shijing went out of the house, and has nothing to do with the Wang family since then, and the honor and disgrace of the Wang family has nothing to do with him. After taking the deed, Wang Shijing knelt down and kowtowed 3 times to his parents, and then left Li Jing's house with Xiao Yunan. The dilapidated old house that was just allocated could no longer be lived in. Li Jing lent an unowned and dilapidated house in the village to Wang Shijing. Wang Shijing needed to pay for the title deed of the house within 3 years, and Wang Shijing agreed. Fierce Husband Chapter 3. After coming out of Li Jing's house, 3 young men immediately surrounded Wang Shijing. "Brother Ishijing, do you want us to help?" It was the young man who talked to Wang Shijing before, called Wang Xing. Wang Shijing said, "Trouble you all." "No trouble." Although these 3 young men did not dare to look at Wang Shijing's terrifyingly disfigured face, they were all people who used to have a good relationship with Wang Shijing. It is also because Wang Shijing has not been back for a long time, and there is still some time to separate from each other, but it is not difficult to see that the relationship between these young men and Wang Shijing will return to the original after a long time. The 3 young men called the young men of their own family to help, and they quickly finished moving the things in Wang Shijing's house. Wang Shijing didn't have much belongings. The most important thing was Xiao Yunan's dowry, which contained 5 mahogany boxes. When the dowry was moved, it naturally attracted a crowd of onlookers and discussions. Naturally, most of the onlookers were women. For ordinary farmers, 3 boxes of dowry can be considered too much. How can 5 boxes not make women envious? Xiao Yunan really doesn't like this situation, but he can only endure it now. Just after the things were moved, a few well-meaning households brought vegetables grown by themselves and some miscellaneous grain noodles. Li Jing also asked his youngest son Zhao Yuanqing to bring a bag of white noodles and 2 taels of silver. The place where Shoshui village is located is at the junction of north and south. Most of the food in the north and south can be grown. It's just that the rice and white flour are expensive, and farmers rarely eat them on weekdays. They sell them for money and pay taxes. Usually, they mainly use miscellaneous grains. The white-faced Wang Shijing sent by Zhao Yuanqing accepted it, and he returned the 2 taels of silver. Afterwards, Wang Wenhe also sent his son Wang Shuping to deliver white noodles, cornmeal and some vegetables. The matter of the Wang family has long been known to the whole village. In addition, today's incident has made many villagers look down on Mrs. Wang's family. It's just that the Wang family has a serious boy, and it is very likely that he will be admitted to a scholar and a person. Even if everyone was dissatisfied, they didn't dare to say it, and they only dared to discuss it in private, for fear of offending Mrs. Wang's family. That's why Wang Wenhe, as the patriarch, clearly saw that Mrs. Wang did not treat Wang Shijing's eldest son as a son, and did not interfere much, and no one wanted to offend someone who might be out of office. For the clan, it is a prosperous one. As the patriarch of the Wang clan, Wang Wenhe privately placed the future of the Wang clan on Wang Jisong, the third son of the Wang family. By the time all the work is done, the sun is also in the west. The house had not been occupied for a long time, and the humidity was heavy. Although it was just autumn, Xiao Yunan asked Wang Shijing to set the Kong on fire and bake the house. There are too many things to buy. Xiao Yunan's body has not recovered yet. After another busy day, he cooked a few corns to fill his stomach. He was too lazy to cook, and there was nothing else to do. Wang Shijing and his two children nibbled at the corn quietly. The two children lowered their heads and did not speak. They were full of unease and nervousness. After eating, Xiao Yunan clapped his hands and said to Wang Shijing, "I want to take a bath, you can boil water for me, I won't burn fire." Not noticing the doubts in Wang Shijing's eyes, Xiao Yunan glanced at the two children again. He added, "Boil more hot water and wash them well." Not to mention how dirty Wang Shijing and the two children were, Xiao Yunan couldn't stand the dirt on his body. Even though Mrs. Wang's house was considered a wealthy family in the village, Mrs. Wang and Mrs. Wang Guizhao didn't clean much. In Xiao Yunan's eyes, the cleanliness of these two children was not much different from that of beggars. Wang Shijing didn't comment on Xiao Yunan's poverty care. He left the corn cobs that he finished eating, and went to boil water for Xiao Yunan. As soon as Wang Shijing left, the bodies of the two children tensed. Xiao Yunan put his elbows on his knees and said, "Although I am married to your father, we are married, but I am also a man and will not abuse you like those stepmothers. You don't have to be so afraid of me. There is one more dad. If I divorce your dad in the future, your dad will marry another one, and it will not be too late for you to be afraid." The two children raised their heads and looked at Xiao Yunan in surprise. Xiao Yunan said, "My name is Xiao Yunan. This year, I am 16 years old." "A painful 16-year-old, what is your name and how old are you?" The girl was nervously next to her brother, biting her mouth. After all, the boy was a little more daring. He hugged his sister and said, "My name is Wang Qing, and I'm 6 years old. My sister's name is Wang Yanai, and she is 4 years old. One is 6 years old and the other is 4 years old, looking much thinner than their actual age." Xiao Yunan also understood. In modern society, rural children are less developed than urban children, let alone here. Xiao Yunan asked again, "Do you go to school?" "Go to school?" The two children were a little dazed. Xiao Yunan asked feebly, "Did you go to class?" Brother Wang Qing lowered his head and shook his head. Wang Yanai did not respond. Xiao Yunan was puzzled. He remembered that the fat woman seemed to say that her son was studying. The children here generally go to private schools from the age of 8 to 14 to formally study, but before that, people who have the conditions will find someone to enlighten the children and teach them to read and write. Rich people invite their private masters to their homes. Ordinary people find people who have read books around, and pay a little money or send some things as teachers. It is not considered a formal study, and there is no need to go every day, just once a few days, which is equivalent to early education. Class like that. However, there are very few people who can do this. Even if the tuition fee for early childhood education is very low, it is money. Even if it is just to send some food, it is equivalent to money. Wang Zhaijing is 1 year younger than Wang Qing, but he can go to the class, so Wang Jisong must have read it too. It can be seen that Mrs. Wang's family has some capital. Xiao Yunan glanced in the direction of the kitchen. Wang Shijing was still inside, and it seemed that he would not be able to take a shower for a while. Xiao Yunan turned around and continued to develop feelings with the two children. "I heard your second aunt say that her son is going to study, right?" Wang Yanai clenched her brother's hand. Wang Qing bit her mouth hard, and said in a low voice, "Grandma said I am stupid, study, waste money, cousin, smart." "Then who did your cousin study with?" "I'm following my uncle." Wang Yanai added, "Uncle used to study with his uncle." Xiao Yunan asked, "Is that uncle your grandma's brother or brother?" "It's brother." "Where?" "In Dashan village." Dashan village is still a little far from Shoshui village. Has this old lady Wang's family ever had a scholar? So unscientific. Xiao Yunan raised his hand and rubbed Wang Qing's dirty head. Do you want to study? He will be 7 years old next year, so it shouldn't be a problem to go to a private school a year earlier. Wang Qing suddenly raised his head, with desire in his eyes. But that craving disappeared in an instant. Reading is very expensive and money. Wang Qing lowered his head again. Look up. It's polite to look at someone when talking to them. Wang Qing's body shook and raised his head. Xiao Yunan asked Wang Ni again, do you want to study, little girl? The doll has no place to read. The speaker was Wang Shijing, who came out of the kitchen. Xiao Yunan pouted, he forgot about it. The girl doll, who was called Little Nizi, for the first time shyly shrank into her brother's arms. Wang Shijing sat down on the small bench just now and said, it will take a while for the water to boil. Erjiang took a few eggs and boiled them when you are hungry. Tomorrow I will go to the county to buy something. Let's go together. Xiao Yunan looked at the two children who were wearing patches on top of each other. I haven't been there yet. The two children looked at their father expectantly and cautiously. Xiao Yunan was quite puzzled, and intuitively Wang Shijing was not a competent father. Wang Shijing nodded, let's go together. We have to get up early tomorrow. Row. Wang Ni clenched her brother's hand, her face was filled with joy, while Wang Qing pursed her lips, but her eyes were filled with joy. How the two children looked like abused children. Xiao Yunan pouted at Wang Shijing, got up and went into the house. He hadn't seen what his dowry was. The dowry of grass. Xiao Yunan is a typical rich and handsome. Xiao Yunan's parents are both only sons, perhaps because of the only son, Xiao's father and Xiao's mother would rather be fined and have more children. Xiao Yunan has a brother and a sister on top of him, as well as his grandparents, and grandparents. He can be said to be extremely favored at home. Xiao's father went to sea very early to do business, and Xiao's mother was a fashion designer. When Xiao Yunan was born, the living conditions of Xiao's family were considered rich in those days. Xiao Yunan grew up under the love of his grandparents, older brothers and sisters. After graduating from high school, he was sent by his family to study abroad. After 4 years of study, he came back. With his childhood hobbies, he opened a tea house, a winery, a restaurant, and investment with friends. Uninhibited. To say that the only thing the Xiao family worried about him was his sexuality. Xiao Yunan was born gay, or pure zero. If he didn't have a sissy vibe on him, Xiao's father and Xiao's mother would cry to death. Xiao Yunan has never been short of money since he was a child, and he will make money himself. He didn't have the pressure of inheriting the family business, and his eldest brother and eldest sister didn't look down on his small business. His sister even spoiled him very much, and married a local tyrant husband. Xiao Yunan felt that he was quite rich, but in the eyes of his sister, he was a poor man, and he gave him a lot of subsidies. His eldest brother and eldest sister will earn money one by one, and the brothers and sisters often buy him this, buy that, send this and send that, and he will make money himself. As a result, his philosophy of life is to earn money, and to enjoy life more. Noble, vulgar, as long as Xiao Yunan thinks he should enjoy and try, he will go. He would go to stay in a 7-star hotel, and he would also pack a bag and go up the mountain to be a travel buddy and explore on foot. His attitude towards life became more unscrupulous after his elder brother and elder sister got married and had children one after another. After the Xiao family had it, his parents couldn't cure his sexuality, so they went with him. Xiao Yunan did not expect such a big turning point in his life after wanting to live to be 26 years old. He was just going to buy a bottle of water, but he would meet the young and the bewildered in the street, and he didn't know who was so daring and dared to shoot. The bullet hit the wall and bounced back into Xiao Yunan's body. Xiao Yunan is dead, but alive again. He lived on an ancient man with the same name and surname as him thousands of years ago. It's just that his height has shrunk, from 180 to 170, and then his age has shrunk, from 26 to 16. But this is not a cheating father, the cheating father is that he is married to a man. The Yen kingdom is not the Yen kingdom that Xiao Yunan had studied in the history books. It can be understood as a Huaxia dynasty in another long history of another plane. This Yen country man can marry a woman or a man. Because whether it is a man or a woman, if you want to have a child, you must take the pregnancy fruit. The difference is that women have a higher probability of conceiving than men, and women have more children than men. Many men who choose to marry will never have children in their entire lives. Even if they do, men can only have 2 children at most. Such men are still very few, and most of them can have only 1 child in their lifetime. Therefore, although both men and women can marry, most people still prefer to marry women. In this life, Xiao Yunan is the second son of the Xiao family, with an elder brother, Xiao Dahu, and a younger sister, Xiao Zhen. There are 3 men and 1 woman in the Wang family. The eldest son is Wang Shijing, the second son is Wang Tianyan, and the third is a daughter named Wang Chuanxiu. The youngest boy, Wang Jisong, just turned 15. Wang Shijing and Wang Tianyan are 2 years apart. Wang Shijing is 26 this year, 10 years older than Xiao Yunan here, and the same age as modern Xiao Yunan. Mrs. Wang is considered to be very prolific. Wang Chuanxiu is 17 this year and hasn't talked about her family yet. Mrs. Wang has to choose one carefully. Now Wang Jisong has been married to Tong Xinglang. Although Wang Chuanxiu is a little older, her worth has also risen. In other words, Wang Jisong had a strange disease when he was 13 years old, and he spent a lot of money, but it didn't help. Later, old lady Wang did not know where to find a witch doctor. The other party said that Wang Jisong was suffering from an evil disease. Madame Wang was eager to save her son, not to mention the most promising son of the Wang family. After looking around, I found the Xiao family. Xiaojia village is not too far from Wangjia village. When I found out that Xiao Yunan, the second son of the Xiao family, had the same character as Wang Jisong, Mrs. Wang went to the door. The Xiao family was reluctant at first. Although a man could marry a man, it would be better to marry a woman or a woman. Besides, Xiao Yunan was still young, and the Xiao family was no worse than the Wang family. The old lady Wang gritted her teeth and asked the Xiao family to make conditions, as long as she could marry Wang Jisong. When Mrs. Xiao heard it, she opened her mouth with 50 taels of silver. At that time, Mrs. Wang spent a lot of money on Wang Jisong's medical treatment. Later, she sold 5 acres of land, and gathered some with the clan, and finally made a marriage with Xiao Yunan. Strange to say, Wang Jisong and Xiao Yun got better after they got married. After recuperating at home for a year, Wang Jisong was completely healed. By this time, Mrs. Wang had an opinion on this marriage. His son is going to be the champion in the future, how can he marry a man and still be a farmer, not to mention that the other party is 1 year older than his son. Of course, there is no lack of hatred for Mrs. Xiao taking advantage of the fire. Mrs. Wang is not happy, but Mrs. Xiao is not easy to provoke. In addition to the entire Xiaojia village, Mrs. Wang only dares to care about it in her heart. But when Wang Jisong was officially admitted to Tong Xinglang and stepped into the gate of the scientific examination, Mrs. Wang not only muttered in her heart. She doesn't like this marriage. I don't know who gave Mrs. Wang an idea, saying that Xiao Yunan's characters were fake. Xiao Min, the head of the Xiao family, had worked outside for 7 or 8 years with his wife and children. When he came back, Xiao Yunan was 5 years old. Xiao Dahu and Xiao Yunan's younger sister, Xiao Zhen, were both born in Xiaojia village, but Xiao Yunan was not. Madame Wang seized on this point and said that the Xiao family cheated, because no one could prove that Xiao Yunan was born at that time. Wang Jisong also rejected this marriage in his heart. He and Xiao Yunan were engaged, but they had never met. The old lady here said she wanted to retire, and he agreed immediately there. Mrs. Wang wanted to retire, but Mrs. Xiao did not agree. Wang Jisong has been smart since he was a child. He went to a private school at the age of 5. The master of the private school said that he was smart and would definitely be able to get a name in the future. Everyone thought that Wang Jisong might be admitted to the top spot in the future, so how could such a good marriage be withdrawn? The Xiao family did not agree, and Xiaojia village did not agree. If you want to marry people in our village, you can marry them, and if you want to retire, you can retire. In the future, it will be shameful to ask our village girls to marry people and men to marry. The head of the Xiao clan, and Li Jing of Xiaojia village, brought a group of villagers to the Wang family to make trouble with Mrs. Xiao and Xiao Dahu. Mrs. Wang killed the Xiao family for cheating, but the Xiao family couldn't get the household registration certificate issued by the county government when Xiao Yunan was born. Without a household registration certificate, there is no birthday post stamped by the official family at the time of birth, similar to a modern birth certificate. The two sides refused to give in, and when the two sides were arguing, Xiao Yunan committed suicide by jumping into the river. This time, human life was involved, and Mrs. Wang was terrified. Fortunately, the people were rescued, and the patriarchs and Li Zheng on both sides came forward. In the end, the two sides reached an agreement. Xiao Yunan still married into the Wang family, but not Wang Jisong, but Wang Shijing, the boss of the Wang family. This Wang Shijing had 2 children, and his wife ran away with others. Xiao Yunan was married for the first time. Mrs. Xiao suggested that Xiao Yunan could marry in the past, but she must be in charge of the family after marriage. Correspondingly, the Xiao family would provide a generous dowry. Mrs. Wang also has her own ideas. Waiting for someone to marry, can you say that you can run the family? Married daughters pour out water, and married sons do the same. At that time, not to mention the many labors in the family, and she can get a generous dowry in vain, she agrees. The dowry is private property, not even my husband, let alone his mother-in-law. But Mrs. Wang doesn't care, marrying into the Wang family is a member of the Wang family. There is no private property, but public property. Mrs. Wang has seen Xiao Yunan several times, and she doesn't believe that she can't handle that soft-natured person. Mrs. Wang agreed, but did not ask her son Wang Shijing's opinion. Wang Shijing immediately stated that he would not marry. No matter how Mrs. Wang scolds him, she won't let go. Wang Shijing is married for the second time, and there is no matchmaker for his parents. If he doesn't marry, no one can force him. This Wang Shijing didn't marry, the Wang family couldn't marry him even if he wanted to, and the marriage had to be settled, so the old lady Wang used all her coercion and inducements. In the end, Wang Shijing let go, on the condition that the family split up. As long as the family is separated, he will marry. No matter how Mrs. Wang scolded the son for being unfilial, arrogant, etc., Wang Shijing made up his mind to break up the family first if he wanted to marry. Fierce Husband Chapter 4. Everyone in the village knew about the Wang family. This Wang Shijing is the eldest son of the Wang family, but in the Wang family it seems that he was raised by his stepfather and stepmother. Wang Shijing didn't get married until he was 19 years old, and he married the Song family, a girl of the same age, an older woman, from Qingshan village, a neighboring village. This Song family is also a retail investor in Qingshan village, and they are so poor. If it wasn't for Wang Tianyan's rush to get married, and the Song family was found by Wang Shijing himself, Mrs. Wang would not look down on this marriage. However, the poor have the advantage of being poor, and Mrs. Wang only spent 200 pennies to marry the Song family. As a result, Wang Shijing and Song were arrested for corvée service within 2 months of their marriage. If Mrs. Wang was willing to pay 3 taels of silver, Wang Shijing would not have to go, but Mrs. Wang said that the family had no money, and Wang Tianyan was also qualified. Mrs. Wang also said that Wang Tianyan was not married yet, forcing Wang Shijing to leave the newlyweds' wife. But Wang Shijing walked on the front foot, and Wang Tianyan got married on the back foot. At that time, it was the time when the imperial court was building rivers, fortifications and many other major projects. Usually 2 or 3 months of corvée service, Wang Shijing was stunned to return after 2 years. Bored. The old lady Wang also disliked the eldest son more and more. When Wang Shijing came back, his eldest son Wang Qing was 1 year old, and there were rumors in the village that Wang Qing was not Wang Shijing's son. He just got married and left within 2 months. No matter how powerful his wife is, she can't have a baby so soon. Wang Shijing did not respond to this, and continued to live as usual with the Song family. Mrs. Wang never liked this son, but when Wang Shijing grew up, she didn't dare to beat and scold like before. Wang Shijing is the tallest and strongest in the Wang family. In addition, he was a lot gloomy after he came back, and Mrs. Wang didn't even want to talk to him. With her husband by her side, Song, who was bullied by her mother-in-law, younger siblings, and aunt on weekdays, had a much better life. Within 2 years, Song gave birth to a daughter, Wang Ni, but the good times came to an end. This time the court recruited soldiers. Wang Shijing and Wang Tianyan both met the conditions for recruiting. Because Wang Shijing has served corvée and has served for more than a year, according to the law, if there are qualified brothers in the family, they are not required to do military service, so Wang Tianyan became the first candidate for the Wang family's conscription. This time, Mrs. Wang refused to let him go, saying that Wang Tianyan was not in good health, and if he went, he would definitely not survive. Wang Tianyan also cried and refused to go. Mrs. Wang forced Wang Shijing to go again. Wang Shijing refused to go. The old lady Wang showed her filial piety and said that Wang Shijing was the eldest and should protect her younger brothers and sisters, but Wang Shijing was unmoved. The old lady Wang refused to pay for the money, and refused to let Wang Tianyan go. In the end, she ran to the recruiting place and wrote Wang Shijing's name, and Wang Shijing was taken away. It's been 3 years. He joined the army for 3 years and fought for 2.5 years. Wang Shijing, who came back again, faced 2 children who could not get enough food and clothing, and his wife who eloped with others because he couldn't bear the bullying at home the next year after he joined the army. Wang Shijing became more dull and gloomy. Wang Shijing, who lost one eye and ruined his appearance, went to Li Zheng and handed in a letter of reconciliation. He didn't blame his wife for running away with someone. This Heli book is handed in. In the future, the Song family will not be punished by the clan even if he comes back, and the household registration will be changed to Heli single. Only 7 or 8 days after returning, Wang Shijing faced the persecution of his mother again, forcing him to marry Xiao Yunan, who had been dismissed by his younger brother. This time, Wang Shijing traded his marriage for freedom. If you want him to marry, you can, first divide the family. This time, Li Zheng and Wang Wenhe, the patriarch of the Wang clan, really couldn't see it, and came forward to reconcile. Mrs. Wang agreed to the separation, but asked Wang Shijing not to speak out before getting married. The Xiao family once said that if the Wang family ruined the marriage again, they would go to the county school. After Wang Jisong was admitted to Tong Xinglang, he went to the county school to study. For Wang Jisong's reputation, Mrs. Wang did not dare to take risks. Li Zheng and Wang Wenhe also came forward, and Mrs. Wang gave Wang Shijing 5 acres of land for cutting meat, of which 2 acres were the worst sand fields, and the other 3 acres were also inferior fields. The Wang family owns 27 acres of land and this time, allocating 5 acres, but it is not to kill the old lady Wang. In the Wang family, Wang Dali was the nominal head of the family, but in reality he didn't care about anything and didn't worry about it. The eldest son, Wang Ishijing, was so devastated by his own mother that he didn't seem to see it and didn't say a word. The eldest daughter-in-law was bullied by her mother-in-law and couldn't survive, and he didn't say a word. Mrs. Wang is not good to Wang Shijing, so how can Wang Dali, the head of the family, be so good? In modern terms, it is cold and violent. At least Wang Dali still talks to Wang Tianyan and Wang Jisong, but rarely speaks to Wang Shijing. Here, Wang Shijing agreed to marry Xiao Yunan after signing the deed of separation. Over there, Xiao Yunan, who had attempted suicide, was so confused that he seemed to have lost his soul. Xiao family was afraid that there would be more troubles, and quickly set up a wedding date with the Wang family. They married in 3 days, and they did not even choose a good day. The Xiao family did not tell Xiao Yunan who he married, for fear that Xiao Yunan would find out the truth on the day of the marriage. Mrs. Xiao kept feeding Xiao Yunan with drugs. On the day of the marriage, Xiao Yunan married in a daze, and even what her husband looked like. I don't know what it looks like. Xiao Yunan got married, but the Xiao family found out that Wang Shijing had separated. The Xiao family quit again. To marry Xiao Yunan into the Xiao family is to climb Wang Jisong. What are you going to climb after dividing your family? The Xiao family said that the Wang family cheated on the marriage and wanted the Wang family to lose money. Xiao Yunan has already married, and Mrs. Wang has no fear. In addition, after Xiao Yunan got married, Wang Shijing directly took Xiao Yunan's dowry to the old house she had assigned, and she didn't give Mrs. Wang a chance to do it. She paid 3 taels of silver for the betrothal gift, but she didn't get a cent in return. The old lady Wang, who didn't suffer from anything, also worked with the Xiao family. This was the trouble Xiao Yunan and Wang Shijing went to solve at the beginning. Xiao Yunan, who jumped into the river, was actually dead. He died when he was rescued. Later, he came back to life, but it was Xiao Yunan who was accidentally killed by a stray bullet in his wanton life. At that time, the reason why he was groggy at that time was because the original owner was unwell. After all, he had really died once. The other reason was that Xiao Yunan, who had received all the memories of the original owner, collided with his original memory, causing him to become unconscious. In addition, Mrs. Xiao was drugged. No one knew what Wang Shijing thought about this marriage in Xiao Yunan. After Xiao Yunan entered the door, Wang Shijing did not touch him. Xiao Yunan lay on the bed for 2 whole days before he recovered. Not long after he recovered, Wang Guizhao came to the door. Xiao Yunan was very annoying. In his upbringing experience, there had never been such shrew as Mrs. Wang and Mrs. Xiao. His only impression of the countryside is the farmhouse. But here, there is not even a decent road, let alone bullshit, dog shit, and maybe human everywhere. And the gossip women muttering behind him. Xiao Yunan was very annoying. It's true that he is gay, it is true that he is pure zero, it is true that he does not reject marriage, but he rejects having children. I don't know if he ate the fruit. The original Xiao Yunan did not have it in his memory, and Xiao Yunan could only comfort himself that he hadn't eaten yet. Besides, he's gay, he's pure zero, but he's never engaged in one-night stands. He talked about 2 boyfriends, but they split up quickly and it didn't feel right. What he wants is the love of marriage, not the venting of the body. He didn't dislike Wang Shijing's one-eyed disfigurement, nor did he dislike him for having children. The most irreconcilable conflict between him and Wang Shijing is that there will never be a common language between the two of them. Without a common language, completely different living environment and growth experience, in modern society, it is very difficult for such 2 people to come together, not to mention another plane world spanning thousands of years. Xiao Yunan was very annoying. This is not a world where you can run around with your ID and wallet. Here, household registration management is quite strict. He is now Wang Shijing's wife, and his household registration falls under the name of Wang Shijing. If Wang Shijing didn't let anyone go, he couldn't just leave. Even if Wang Shijing divorced him, he would have nowhere to go. In addition, this is a feudal society that eats people and doesn't spit bones. He knows nothing about this place, and he can't guarantee that he will lose his life if he goes out and provokes someone he can't provoke. For him, the most reliable thing at the moment is to live here in Wang Shijing, first think of ways to make money, then think of ways to make himself a little social status, and then leave. At this time, Xiao Yunan didn't know what happened to Wang Shijing. But since he made the decision to settle here first, Xiao Yunan couldn't let himself be so poor all the time. He scooped up a ladle of hot water and rushed down from his head. He took a deep breath. Get the money first. Taking advantage of the time to take a bath, he sorted out his thoughts again, suppressing his thoughts and guilt for his parents. Xiao Yunan dried his body and put on the clean underwear he pulled out from his dowry. The first thing to do when you have money is to buy a big bathtub. Well, I'm afraid this place doesn't have something as high level as a bathtub. There should be a bathtub. The house that Li Jing lent to Wang Shijing is a bit broken, but there are 3 rooms, and there is an independent yard with walls and doors, with a front and rear yard. After getting dressed, Xiao Yunan looked out from the crack of the door. No one was there. The place where he takes a bath is in the kitchen. There is no separate bathroom here. The stove in the kitchen is still burning, so it won't get cold. It's already September, the Mid-Autumn Festival is over, the weather is getting colder, and sooner or later, there will be some chills. This is not the modern age with El Niño. After Wang Shijing boiled water for him, he went into the house. After the 2 children washed up, they also hid in another hut. After blowing out the oil lamp, Xiao Yunan waited for a while. There was only crickets outside, and everything was quiet. Until the flames in the stove also went out, his eyes shone brightly in the dark night, and in the blink of an eye, he suddenly disappeared in place. Night became day, and the sun hung high in the sky. The destination is a farmland. The fields were bare and nothing. Xiao Yunan, who had changed places, not only did not panic, but was relaxed and even excited. My space is still there. Xiao Yunan burst into tears. If he hadn't just taken a shower, he would have knelt down and kissed the ground beneath his feet. Xiao Yunan has been hiding a secret since he was 13 years old. During the summer vacation at the age of 12, he and his family went to the famous Buddhist shrine to incense. He actually went to play. After arriving at the destination, he went to play around alone. I don't know how he got there, but he actually walked into a small forest that was uninhabited. There is a towering tree in the woods that stands out. At that time, Xiao Yunan didn't know what kind of tree it was. He only knew that the tree hole was so big that one person could sit there because an old monk was sitting there. The old monk was kind-hearted, smiled at him after seeing him, said that the two were destined, and then gave Xiao Yunan a jade pendant. This jade pendant is no different from the jade pendant that is said to have been consecrated by the master in the temple. However, out of awe and respect for Buddhism, Xiao Yunan thanked him sincerely and saluted. Leaving the woods, he found his parents and eldest brother. He told the matter, and took out the jade pendant to show his family. The parents immediately said that he had met the master, and quickly took him to find the master, but only found a tree hole. Then, Xiao Yunan knew that the big tree was called the Bodhi tree. Since then, Xiao Yunan has become more in awe of places like temples. He does not believe in Buddhism, but he is in awe of such eminent monks. He also wore the jade pendant around his neck. The following year, Xiao Yunan went to the amusement park to play and fell from the sky. The jade pendant was broken, others were fine, but there was an inexplicable extra space on his body. Similar to most space novels, in his space there is a spiritual spring, a clump of spiritual milk stones, and a fertile field, but there is no house. Xiao Yunan didn't dare to let anyone know about it, not even his parents and siblings. If this is accidentally spread, it will definitely be the scourge of extinction. Xiao Yunan only dared to quietly use spiritual spring water and spiritual lotion for his family. Outsiders were only curious about how the Xiao family took care of them and how they lived younger and younger, but they did not know that the constitution of the Xiao family had been quietly changed by Xiao Yunan. When he came to this original other world, Xiao Yunan did not expect the space to follow him. However, many of the things he had arranged in the space were gone. Once, there were large vines and tea trees in his space, but now they are all gone. The area of the Lingquan has shrunk by half, and it is only about 20 square meters in size, and the size of the Lingru stone has also become smaller. The cabin he built with the ants was also gone. But the things he kept in the space are still there. The land area in the space has also shrunk a bit. It used to be about 50 acres, but now it is about 20 acres. However, if it is converted into the area of this world, it is nearly 40 acres. Xiao Yunan found a jade bottle from what he had stored and placed it under the spiritual milk stone dripping. This spiritual milk drips very slowly, and the amount is small. Now I don't have a drop, and I don't have time to wait here all the time. In his current state, drinking a drop of spiritual milk will definitely bring earth-shaking changes, so he should be more cautious. However, spiritual spring water can be used. The effect of spiritual spring water is not as domineering as spiritual milk, and it is very gentle. He found instant noodles from the stock, devoured a pack, and drank a glass of spiritual spring water and a bottle of milk, which made his body feel much better. Leaving the space in a hurry, Xiao Yunan felt a lot more at ease. As long as the space was still there, he would not starve to death, and he had the confidence to live here. Fierce Husband, Chapter 5. He found the fire stick on the stove, lit the oil lamp again, and Xiao Yunan pushed open the kitchen door and went back to the house. As soon as the door opened, someone said, "It's late, go to sleep." With the dim light, Xiao Yunan saw that Wang Shijing was already lying down. There was another quilt neatly spread one person's width away from him. The red quilt was one of Xiao Yunan's dowry. Wang Shijing also washed it well. He was disliked in the morning, and he was completely separated from the family. He was also in the mood to rectify himself. Xiao Yunan was quite satisfied with Wang Shijing's self-consciousness. Although he is a pure zero, it does not mean that he wants to be a man. He is in no mood at all right now. After closing the door and putting the oil lamp on the broken wooden table, Xiao Yunan blew out the oil lamp and climbed into bed in the dark. Xiao Yunan was not so sleepy just after drinking the Lingquan water. There was a musty smell in the dark, dilapidated house, and the bed was hard. Fortunately, the beds were clean and new. After all, it was about getting married, so Mrs. Wang still prepared 2 new quilts. Regardless of whether Wang Shijing slept or not, Xiao Yunan said, "Go to the county seat tomorrow, do you have any money?" After a few seconds, the response rang. "Yes. Let it pass this year first, save the money, and buy the land next year and build a new house." Wang Shijing had no land, and Xiao Yunan didn't ask him how he made money, he just said, "You and I don't know each other well, and I want you to be my husband, and my husband, but I can't do it. You and I get along as brothers first. Well. You and I are also considered to be in the same disease. I will help you share the burden of this family, and I will also help you take care of the children, but you must promise me and not force me." Wang Shijing's voice was flat. "If you have someone you like, I will write a letter of reunion for you. I also used you in this marriage." Wang Shijing's answer was really beyond Xiao Yunan's expectations. He turned over to face the dark shadow, and became interested. "Hey, I don't understand, your parents, oh, why did your parents treat you so badly? Didn't you buy it like me?" In the darkness, Wang Shijing turned his head slightly and asked, "Did you buy it?" He didn't forget what Xiao Yunan said during the day. Xiao Yunan said, "It should have been bought. Anyway, it wasn't from a serious channel. I don't remember who I belonged to, and how it ended up in the Xiao family. But I have overheard Mrs. Xiao complaining to Mr. Xiao. He said that he shouldn't bring me back, and that he should sell it early. Listen to what they mean, they didn't get me in the right way. Mrs. Wang is right, my character is fake, it's Xiao, it's made up by the family. It's just a crooked pattern, and the 8 characters made up just meet the needs of your 3rd child." Wang Shijing in the dark frowned, not minding what Xiao Yunan called his own mother. The state of Yen severely punished the sale of Liangjiazi. Even during the famine years, it is not allowed to buy and sell good family sons, they only dare to buy and sell secretly in private. The original Xiao Yunan knew that he was not a serious adoption, but because of his personality and environment, he didn't think so much, so far. Young Master Xiao, who merged the memory of the original owner, easily thought of this level. He was not familiar with the laws of the Yen kingdom, but he still knew this through the original owner, so he revealed this matter. Mr. Xiao Taihe Xiao Dahu was afraid, and also explained from the side that there was indeed a problem with the origin of the original owner. It's just that the original owner doesn't remember where he came from, and Xiao Yunan is also unable to help the original owner get justice. It is still unknown whether he can have a stable foothold in this world. "Do you want to find your biological parents?" Wang Shijing asked. "I don't have that plan. I'll talk about it in the future. Who knows what happened back then? I don't want to make a big deal out of it. Anyway, the trouble this time around the Xiao family won't be small. If this matter gets to the Yamen side, how big of an impact will it have?" Wang Shijing said truthfully, "The Xiao family must at least be exiled, and the patriarch of the Xiao family can't escape, at least 5 years in prison. You can sue them." In ancient times, the population was not prosperous. The Dayan kingdom has been corvée and wars in recent years, and the population gap is even greater. Therefore, the punishment for buying and selling good families is very heavy. Xiao Yunan said, "If you have this point, you can hold them back. If they don't bother me again, I will teach them a lesson. I don't remember where I came from, even if I win, my own life is also a mess. As long as they are smart enough, I will let them go temporarily." After a pause, he couldn't help asking, "What about you? You haven't said what happened to you. You are their relative son." Wang Shijing was silent. Xiao Yunan didn't expect the other party to reveal his heart to him immediately, he turned over and lay down. After a long time, when Xiao Yunan was drowsiness, a low voice sounded, "I also want to know if I am their biological son." The vicissitudes and sadness revealed in this sentence made Xiao Yunan's heart tremble inexplicably. He sniffed, and he mumbled, "You regret it now, it may be too late." "I don't regret it." Wang Shijing turned over and turned his back to Xiao Yunan. Go to sleep, you have to get up early tomorrow. Oh. Xiao Yunan also turned over, also turned his back, and said in his heart, families like that, don't want to be happy. At dawn the next day, Xiao Yunan, who was still asleep, was woken up by Wang Shijing. Getting up from the bed, he rubbed his sore back, the bed was too hard. Wang Shijing got up without knowing what time he had already boiled hot water and cooked breakfast. Breakfast is simple, corn batter with flatbread and pickles. The flatbread and pickles were sent by the kind villagers yesterday. After washing, Xiao Yunan sat down to eat. Yesterday, he made a rule with the other three in the family. He should wash his hands before and after eating, brush his teeth and face in the morning and evening, wash his feet before going to bed at night, and take a shower at least once every 3 days. The three did not object to this, but it was true that the two children were more afraid of the stepmother. While eating, Xiao Yunan said to Wang Shijing, you remember who sent things yesterday. If you have the opportunity to repay it later, they will send charcoal in the snow. Well, this pickle is very fragrant, I don't know who it is. Wang Shijing opened his mouth, I remember the one who delivered the things. Aunt Wang Lu brought the pickles. She is Wang Xing's mother, and Wang Xing was the man who asked me if I wanted to help me yesterday. Everyone in the village with the surname Wang is a relative. Yes. Wang Xing's family and my family have 5 servers. Uncle Gui is the 4th oldest on their side. If you meet them later, you can just call the 4th uncle and 4 aunts. Wang Xing is 1 year younger than me. I will tell you later when I meet others. Xiao Yunan nodded, he had an impression of the young man. As long as someone gets married here, both men and women must bear the surname of the husband's family. Sometimes, in order to make it easier to distinguish, the original surname will be added to the introduction, especially in rural areas where there are many people of the same clan. Xiao Yunan was depressed, then am I now changed to Wang Xiao? Wang Shijing said, you haven't entered the genealogy yet, so you don't need to change it. If you don't like it, I'll write your name on the genealogy, but I still have to use my surname. Qin Gur and Nizi have not entered the genealogy. I will go to the patriarch. Considering the old-fashioned and feudal style of the ancients, Wang Shijing's words were relatively enlightened, and Xiao Yunan knew that he couldn't ask for too much. Think about it, if he really married Wang Jisong, I am afraid that the next day he would use a knife to force Wang Jisong to write him a divorce letter. Although I haven't seen Wang Jisong, I can see that the guy is not very good. Otherwise, the family would be so troubled, and he would never show up. In this day and age, 15 years old can be a father. Wang Shijing then said to the 2 children, I'll call you daddy in the future. Wang Qing and Wang Ni immediately shouted, little dad. Well, this title Xiao Yunan is quite satisfactory. Immediately afterwards, the other party said again, in the future, you can call me brother Ishii, shall I call you Yanancheng? This body is 10 years younger than Wang Shijing, so it should be called brother. Xiao Yunan's actual age is 26, which is about the same age as Wang Shijing, but definitely looks fresher than Wang Shijing of the same age. Wang Shijing not only has the vicissitudes of life on his face, but also has sporadic white hair on his temples. In terms of experience, Wang Shijing was a bumpy one. 2 years of corvée, 3 years of military service, and the precocious maturity of the ancients, Wang Shijing would not be able to show his old age. For example, Mrs. Wang is only in her 40s, but she looks like a person in her 60s. The average life expectancy of people here is only 50 or 60 years old, and the rich people can live longer. Wang Shijing's face is definitely above 35 in modern times. Facing this old face, Xiao Yunan said, okay. But I think Xiao Nizi's name should be changed. From now on, the nickname will be called Nizi, and the name should be better. Wang Ni's eyes lit up. Wang Shijing saw his daughter's thoughts and said, you can name Nizi. I don't know much, and I learned it from others after I joined the army. Xiao Yunan said, then let me think about it. Wang Yanai lowered her head, her little heart thumping. She was very afraid that her mother would abuse her later. Everyone in the village said that, as did my second aunt, my sister-in-law, and my cousin. But now, my father doesn't seem so scary. The four of them quickly finished their meal, and Wang Shijing went out first to borrow a car. It takes half an hour to travel by ox cart from the village to the county seat. Xiao Yunan dug out 2 cotton cloths from his dowry box. His dowry looks like a lot, but it's actually not worth much. The 5 boxes were not full, but were loosely placed 2 mattresses, 2 quilts, 2 cotton cloths, 3 coarse cloths, 2 lacquer boxes, 5 new and old clothes inside and outside, as well as dishes, combs and other scattered items. As for the money at the bottom of the press box, that is, 1,000 copper coins per hoist, combined with 1 tael of silver. Xiao Jiakan gave Xiao Yunan a silver or 2, which was beyond Xiao Yunan's expectations. Wang Shijing came back soon, and Xiao Yunan came out with 2 pieces of cotton cloth in his arms. Is there anyone who makes clothes in the city? Make these 2 pieces of cloth. Wang Shijing said, it's expensive to make clothes in the county. Let the ant in the village do it. It's cheap, and it can give people some income. Although he has the memory of the original owner, Xiao Yunan is still very unfamiliar with this world. After Wang Shijing said this, he turned around and went back and put the cloth down. There are ox carts and donkey carts in the village to take people to the county every day, which can be regarded as a livelihood. Wang Shijing didn't want to take a ride with the villagers, so he went to Wang Xing's house to borrow an ox cart. People in the village usually pay 1 coin for a one-way trip, and 2 coins for a round trip. Wang Shijing gave Wang Xing's family 10 coins to rent a car. Wang Xing's family refused to ask for anything, and Wang Shijing forced it down. Wang Shijing drove the car, and Xiao Yunan sat in the convertible car to protect the 2 children from left to right. The 2 children always feel very restrained, not at all naive as children of this age should be. It is not difficult for Xiao Yunan to guess that the 2 children's personalities are caused by the family environment, but they don't know what the 2 children have experienced, making them so cautious even in front of their own fathers. The ox cart was not easy to ride, the weather was a little cold, and the road was uneven. Xiao Yunan swears in his heart that he must buy a comfortable carriage in the future, otherwise a trip to the city will be fatal. After almost half an hour, he finally saw the city gate of the county seat. Xiao Yunan couldn't help but feel his ass. For non-county residents, each person enters the city with a penny, not counting children. Wang Shijing gave 2 copper coins and dragged the ox cart into the city. As soon as we entered the city, lively noises came from all directions. Xiao Yunan already had a psychological construction for the city here. It was not as dilapidated as he imagined, but it was not much better. From time to time there are animals entering and leaving the city, and the ground will naturally not be so clean. The houses on both sides of the street are only 2 floors tallest. There are vendors who set up stalls, and there are also shops that open their doors to do business. All kinds of shop flags flutter in the wind. As soon as he entered the city, Xiao Yunan came down and left the 2 children in the car. He followed Wang Shijing to the place where the livestock and cars were stored. When the 2 children entered the city for the first time, they put aside their cowardice and restraint and looked around, which was very novel. After Wang Shijing stored the ox cart, Xiao Yunan carried the blushing Wang Ni out of the car, and Wang Qing jumped out of the car. Xiao Yunan said, "Brother Ishijing, I want to visit the county town first. We'll have dinner here at noon. You can buy whatever you want." "What do you want to buy?" Wang Shijing asked. Xiao Yunan looked around and said, "I don't know, I want to go shopping first." After thinking about it, he asked, "How is the security here?" "Security? It's just that and is not safe. Will there be gangsters and bullies or something?" Wang Shijing said after a while, "It shouldn't be bad. Yongxiu County is a big county, and there are many people coming from the south to the north. Now the world is not so chaotic, and there are not so many bad people, just pay attention to yourself." "That's fine." Xiao Yunan immediately said, "Then you can take Qin Gur and Xiao Nizi to buy things. I'll go around first. After you finish shopping, come back here and wait for me. If I'm finished shopping first, I will come back and wait for you." Wang Shijing disagreed, "I'll accompany you, what do you want to see?" "It's too late today, I'll accompany you tomorrow." Xiao Yunan said, "No need. I'll tell you when I go back." "That's it." You and I are divided into two groups. Xiao Yunan insisted. Wang Shijing did not force him, and took out a money bag from his arms, ready to give Xiao Yunan some money. Xiao Yunan patted the cloth bag in front of him and said, I have money on me, so I don't think I can buy anything. If it's not enough, I'll ask you when I come back. Wang Shijing nodded and put away the purse. I'll go buy food first. Okay, then I'm leaving. If you encounter bad people, avoid them. Okay. Waving to the three of them, Xiao Yunan left first. Wang Shijing put the basket on his back, looked at his back for a while, lowered his head and said to the two children, let's go. Then he bent over and hugged Wang Ni. Wang Ni hurriedly said, Dad, I'll go by myself. If you can't hold him, you can go by yourself. Brother Qing, hold on to your father's clothes. Fierce Husband, Chapter 6. If you want to make money, you must first understand the market here. Although the original owner's memory can give him a little reference, he still has to see it with his own eyes. Whether Yongxiu County is big or not, Xiao Yunan can't compare it, but it is quite lively. This is also related to the geographical location of Yongxiu County. After strolling 2 streets, Xiao Yunan saw a building with a special shape. After a closer look, the plaque on the gate reads, Yongxiu Academy. He knew where this place was, and Wang Jisong should be studying here. The imperial examination system of Yan State was divided into 2 forms. Usually, all students who study in a school designated by the government are Tongsheng. However, in order to take the exam, one must first pass a formal Tongshenglang certification exam. Only by passing the county examination and the prefectural examination can he be regarded as a formal Tongshenglang, and only have the qualifications to be admitted as a scholar. When formally applying for a scholar, a guarantee, certificate issued by the school must also be obtained. This kind of guarantee is provided by the master who directly teaches knowledge. As long as you study in the school and pass the test of Tongshenglang, the master will issue such a guarantee, unless you are notorious. This approach is mostly aimed at underprivileged students. If you study in the Imperial College or above, you can skip the Tongsheng examination and directly participate in the twice 3-yearly scholarly examination. If you study in the Gongyuan of the capital, as long as you graduate from the Gongyuan, you will have the qualifications to be an official, and the status is equivalent to that of a person. You can directly serve as an official, or you can continue the scientific examination. In addition, there is another qualification that is recommended by a well-respected Confucian scholar. You can also skip the Tongsheng test and start the test directly from the scholar. But these 2 methods are difficult for the underprivileged children. First of all, whether it is recommended by Guozijian or a great scholar, such a person must be extremely good. It is very difficult to get in and out of the Imperial College. The level of education that such a person has received since childhood is definitely not comparable to that of a poor family who came out of a village. On the recommendation of the great Confucian, there are several poor families who have the opportunity to contact the great Confucian-level characters. The imperial examinations in the Yan Kingdom can be seen as a stage of transition from the recommendation system of aristocratic families to the complete imperial examination system. The roles of Guozijian and Great Confucianism are similar to those of the former clansmen. The colleges affiliated to the imperial court in various places also provided the possibility for the children of the poor family to enter the officialdom. In Yan Kingdom, reading is a very sacred thing, and the status of scholars is also quite high. In Yan State, among scholars, peasants, and businessmen, the division of the latter two is not so clear, and the status of merchants in Yan State is not so unbearable, and there is no such thing as emphasizing agriculture and ignoring business, but scholars are definitely superior to others. Regardless of whether it was the previous dynasty or the current dynasty, the selection of the imperial examination was extremely strict. Even the students who came out of the Imperial Academy were very few if they could pass the examination as a tribute scholar, and then had the hope of entering the imperial examination to become a jinshi. In the imperial examination held every 3 years, the number of students who became jinshi was at least a few, and in many cases, only a dozen or 20. More than half of them were selected from the talents recommended by Guozijian and Daru. In the past century, Xiushui village has produced only 2 scholars. One of the 2 scholars belonged to the Zhao clan and the other belonged to the Wang clan. It was also because of these two scholars that the Zhao clan and the Wang clan became big clans that could form their own clan in Xiushui village, which was originally dominated by the Sun clan. For the underprivileged children, being able to pass the childbirth test is first and foremost an honor. Both the Tongxing exam and the Xiuzai exam are held twice every 3 years, but they are staggered. You must first obtain the qualifications for the Tongxing examination before you can take the Xiuzai examination in the coming year, and only after you have obtained the qualifications for the Xiuzai can you take part in the official big exam that takes place every 3 years. Wang Jisong passed the childbirth test at the age of 15, which can be called a child prodigy among many students who are still taking the exams in their 30s. The Tongxing exam is held every August 12 every year. There are 2 consecutive exams in the county, prefecture and prefecture to which they belong. Students who have obtained the Tongxing Lang qualification can participate in the college examination in August of the following year. Those who pass the academy examination are called Xiu Kai, and then they can take part in the autumn and winter exams, which are held once every 3 years, the township examination, and those who pass the examination are called Jiren. Jiren will then go on to the spring festival meeting exam in April of the following year, and those who pass are Gongsheng. Finally, Gongsheng will participate in the palace examination, and the emperor or someone appointed by the emperor will conduct the final assessment and select the top 3, Jinshi. For every student, becoming a Jinshi is the ultimate goal of their efforts, and one of the first, top and third-class Jinshi, the champion, the second place or the third flower, is their ultimate goal. But even so, even if it is just a scholar, it is a great honor. Not only can the tax of 30 mu of land be exempted, but there is also a monthly stipend of 20 taels of silver and a certain amount of grain. Rich people look down on this thing, and it is different for poor disciples. Wang Jisong passed the Tongxing test this year, and he will be able to take the academy test in August next year. But he is only 15 years old. Not to mention the Wang family now, the entire Wang clan and Xiushui village are looking forward to Wang Jisong becoming another scholar in 100 years, and maybe even the first master in the history of Xiushui village. Maybe he could go further and become Gongsheng or even get the champion. In this regard, Xiao Yunan pouted in his heart. It's not that he looks down on the underprivileged children, but with Wang Jisong's character and the Wang family's top-notch tutoring, it may be possible for such a person to be talented, but don't think about it further. With such a strict imperial examination system, everyone sharpened their heads and took the test. As long as someone had the heart to stab the affairs of the Wang family, Wang Jisong's disrespect to his brother was enough for him to drink a pot. Because it is difficult to enter the official position, the reputation and character of the students are highly valued, and the selection of officials by the imperial court must also avoid selecting people with poor character who will bring harm to the emperor's country. It can also be seen that Wang Jisong and the Wang family, including the entire Wang family, are short-sighted, and the family affairs they think are likely to become a disaster that affects Wang Jisong's entry into office in the future. If the Wang family and Wang Jisong honestly don't provoke them in the future, Xiao Yunan won't care which step Wang Jisong can pass the exam, but if the Wang family is smart, he doesn't mind being the one who stabs him in the back. From the imperial examination system of Yen State, it can be seen that the social development level of Yen State is not too backward and primitive. But paradoxically, the productivity and economic level of Yen country are indeed underdeveloped. The Ming and Qing dynasties were the period when the imperial examination system was developed and perfected, but the productivity and economic level of the Yen kingdom were far inferior to that of the Ming dynasty, even the Tang dynasty, and even less than the most wealthy Song dynasty. The output of grain in Dian is not high. Rice, millet, wheat, glutinous rice, corn, etc. are all grown, but ordinary people still eat mainly miscellaneous grains. There are not many kinds of vegetables, that is, potatoes, cabbage, white radish, mallow, soybean seedlings, leeks, spinach and eggplant, as well as several kinds of wild vegetables. There are no cucumbers and tomatoes. In this era, productivity and people's livelihood are still very low. In the later years of the emperor, his head was dizzy and he struggled a lot, which affected the stability of the Yen kingdom. Later, the late emperor finally died, and the prince ascended the throne. The new emperor is a wise man, and he worked hard to change the country, and he finally got better. However, in the later years of the emperor Xiandi, there was a great deal of construction, and many projects were not completed until his death. It is a pity to give up these projects, and it will cost money to continue. Some of these projects are still useful for people's livelihood and for the development of the country. The new emperor gritted his teeth and allocated a sum of money from the national treasury, then took some from his own private treasury, and then collected donations from the common people. The construction was completed, which is why Wang Ishijing served as corvée for 2 years. This project has not been completed yet, the foreign enemy is just around the corner, and there are large and small natural disasters every year. Even if the new emperor knew that it might lead to dissatisfaction among the people and turmoil in the country, he could only increase taxes again. Those big projects need money, wars need money, disaster relief needs money, and the maintenance of the country's operations needs money. Xiao Yunan can only think about how worried the emperor is. Because of the increase in taxes, prices are also higher than before. Many farmers could not pay the taxes and had to sell their land at a low price and leave their homes. Yongqiu County's geographical location is relatively good. It can be regarded as a north-south traffic artery. In addition, the land is relatively fertile and the population is large, so it can be regarded as a relatively rich place. Xiushui village is not far from Yongqiu County, and it is surrounded by mountains and rivers. It is a wealthy village under the jurisdiction of Yongqiu County, so relatively speaking, everyone's life is not so difficult. If it were the border gates and places that had been hit by disasters year after year, there would be 10 rooms and 9 empty spaces, and the people would be displaced. Mrs. Wang's family has 27 acres of land which belongs to the upper middle class in Xiushui village. It was originally a big family because it sold a lot of land to Wang Jisong's medical treatment. The geographical location of Yongqiu County determines that the land of ordinary farmers will not be too small. Xiao Yunan didn't know how much the family income of Mrs. Wang's family was in a year. The Xiao family had 28 acres of land, plus the old man Xiao and Xiao Dahu would go to work part-time, so they could earn 20 or 30 taels a year if they worked hard. But now the tax is heavy, and the years are not good. After the annual land tax, poll tax and other extortionate taxes are deducted, it is more than a dozen taels in 1 year. Now the price is high, and in the end it is only a balance of 2 or 3 taels of silver. If you pay corvage tax, conscription tax, etc., you have to borrow money. This is still around Yongqiu County, including the Qinan prefecture to which it belongs, which is considered to be a relatively prosperous state in Dian. If it is a poor place, I don't know how to endure that day, and I don't know how many people have to leave their homes and become refugees. On the one hand, it is related to the unstable situation at home and abroad. On the other hand, the most important aspect is that the commerce of Yan country is underdeveloped. Most of the taxes of the imperial court were collected from the peasants. As a result, the peasants' life became more and more difficult, the taxes of the imperial court became more and more difficult to collect, and the country became poorer and poorer. Xiao Yunan remembered that 70% of the Song dynasty's fiscal revenue was commerce, and agriculture only accounted for 30%, so the people of the Song dynasty were very rich. But no matter how underdeveloped there are also rich people. Xiao Yunan thought about how to make money in the future as he walked. As he walked, he saw 2 people, and he suddenly had an idea. He bought 5 big meat buns at the bun stall on the street, and with 4 copper coins in his hand, he walked towards the 2 of them. 2 beggars huddled at the base of the wall, waiting for passers-by to give alms. A young man in ordinary clothes walked up to them and put the paper bag with the smell of meat buns in front of them with a smile, and the 2 beggars hurriedly thanked them. "Thank you, sir, thank you, sir." Xiao Yunan didn't dislike them either. When the 2 beggars grabbed the steamed buns with their dark hands and ate them, he said, "Big brothers, I have something to ask about." A beggar swallowed the meat buns and nodded sharply, "This little brother just asks." Another beggar also nodded sharply. They had met many people who gave alms, but this was the first time they saw a young man who smiled at them, and there was no disgust or disgust in his eyes. This young man was handsome. Xiao Yunan was very happy and said, "This is the first time I have come to the county seat, and I want to know about the situation in the county seat. You can say whatever you know, the more detailed the better." After that, he put down the 4 copper coins in his hand. "It's a thank you fee." "Thanks for the fee." This word sounds fresh, but the two beggars shook their heads. No, no, you have already bought us buns, and you can't ask for your money anymore. It doesn't matter, it's not much. Maybe in the future, I will trouble the two big brothers to help us find out the news. The two beggars looked at each other and did not push back. With steamed buns to eat and money to take, the two beggars immediately told Xiao Yunan everything they knew about Yongxiu County. Xiao Yunan sat on the side casually, causing passers-by to look at him. Is such a clean young man also a beggar? There are two beggars who know everything. Xiao Yunan asks a few more questions, and he has a clearer understanding of Yongxiu County. This knowledge also gave him a more intuitive understanding of the world. After getting the information he wanted to know, Xiao Yunan bought a few more meat buns for the two of them before leaving. As he walked away, he didn't see the two beggars watching him until he disappeared into the crowd. For copper coins, one beggar put away all, and the other beggar helped him to stand up. Big brother, that little brother is a good man. Well, I hope good people can get good rewards. There are two jewelry shops in Yongxiu County, one is run by local people and the other is run by businessmen from other places. Yongxiu County has a lot of people going from south to north, and there are all kinds of shops. Of course, in Xiao Yunan's eyes, it is still very backward. According to the instructions of the two beggars, Xiao Yunan found one of the jewelry shops, Dai Zhuang Pavilion. This, Butterfly Pavilion, was opened by foreign businessmen. As soon as I walked into the shop, a junior came to say hello. Please, what would you like to see? Xiao Er did not chase away the guests because of Xiao Yunan's simple clothes, at least he still had a diligent smile on his face. Xiao Yunan also smiled and said, I'll take a look first. Xiao Er's smile remained unchanged. Please. Xiao Yunan followed Xiao Er to the shelf. There is no glass, so there are no containers, and all the goods are on the shelves. There is not only one junior in the store, but also two big men who are tall and handsome. Xiao Yunan first went to the side of the gold and silver jewelry, and then followed Xiao Er to the side of the jade. At this time, the gold, silver and jade wares were all handmade, but they looked very delicate, much better than the mass-produced jewelry in jewelry stores in modern society. Xiao Yunan secretly thought that when he had the money in the future, he would buy some beautiful jewelry, which were all exquisite antiques. After looking around, Xiao Yunan said to Xiao Er, I have a set of jade pendants, and I want to show them to your shopkeeper. Xiao Er was stunned for a moment, and then said, Kagwan, if you want to pawn, turn left at the fork in front of the intersection, and there is a shop on that street. Xiao Yunan said, I'm not here to money, I'm here to show your shopkeeper something new. Look at novelty. Xiao Er didn't understand. Xiao Yunan smiled, I can't buy this set of jade, it's unique. Xiao Er hesitated, when a voice came from the stairs on the second floor, the unique jade, this guest officer, come upstairs. Xiao Yunan looked up, and Xiao Er also looked at it, and immediately said, this is our shopkeeper. Thank you. To thank Xiao Er, Xiao Yunan walked over, and the other party went downstairs and clasped his fists. My surname is Zheng, I don't know your surname. My surname is Xiao. Thank you, Manager Zheng, for giving me a chance. Young Master Xiao, please. Xiao Yunan followed shopkeeper Zheng upstairs. Fierce Husband, Chapter 7. From the two elder brothers beggars, Xiao Yunan learned that the big boss of the Dai Zhuang Pavilion seems to be from the capital. There are several shops in Yongxiu County, covering jewelry, cloth, catering and other aspects. The largest restaurant in Yongxiu County is Yizhang. Xian is also owned by this person, but this is not the reason why Xiao Yunan chose Butterfly Pavilion. It is said that the big boss is also a good man. During festivals or disasters, Yizhang Xian will serve porridge. An important bridge in Yongxiu County was also built with money. In short, this big boss is not only good at doing business, but also looks good in character. If you want to do business, you have to choose the right partner. Xiao Yunan has no power or power. In modern society, doing business must pay attention to relationship, let alone in ancient times when human rights were not guaranteed at all. To put it bluntly, Xiao Yunan just wanted to find a suitable thigh hug for himself. The big boss in the capital has thicker thighs than the local boss. In the future, let's not talk about getting in touch with this big boss. As long as he can cooperate with people under his banner, it will be a little more secure. Of course, he wouldn't blindly hang himself from a tree. Shopkeeper Zeng politely took Xiao Yunan to the second floor. There are also several shelves on the second floor, but both the fineness of the jade and the fineness of the gold and silver jewelry are 1 or 2 grades higher than those on the first floor. Xiao Yunan took a few glances and followed Shopkeeper Zeng into a compartment, which should be where Shopkeeper Zeng worked. Please sit down. Thanks. Xiao Yunan sat side by side with Shopkeeper Zeng across a tea table. After a while, Xiao Er came with tea. Xiao Yunan was really thirsty, and thanked him again. He picked up the Celadon tea bowl, flipped the tea lid twice, and took a sip. The tea here is all sencha, which is rarely drunk in modern society, and Xiao Yunan also accepts his incompetence. After moistening his lips and throat, Xiao Yunan put down the tea bowl and took out a black flannel bag from the cloth pocket on his chest. Shopkeeper Zeng glanced at the flannel bag in his hand, and immediately directed Xiao Yunan to another long table. Xiao Yunan got up and walked over, and the shopkeeper Zeng took out a piece of wool. Xiao Yunan took out the contents of the flannel bag and put it on the white wool, and the eyes of shopkeeper Zeng changed. This is. Xiao Yunan didn't answer immediately. He took out the 3 jade pendants in the flannel bag and placed them, and then said, "Jadeite string bean pendant. For beans mean peace in the 4 seasons. Lu and Shou are here, the 2 beans are safe for mother and child. This jadeite is harder than ordinary jade and has a strange color. This pendant was found by my husband by chance. If I didn't need money urgently, I wouldn't take it come out. Shopkeeper Zeng, how much is this rare jadeite, a rare shape, worth? How many students hope that they can win 3 yuan, and how many pregnant women hope that their mother and child will be safe? These 2 items alone are enough to attract lots of business opportunities." Jadeite was imported from Burma during the Qin dynasty. In the country of Dayan in this world, there is also no jadeite. They are all nephrites produced locally. The colors are mainly white, cyan, green, and yellow, and black and purple are rare. There is no vegetable such as beans in Dayang, and the shape of green beans is peculiar. Xiao Yunan has space in hand, and he has money. Besides eating, drinking and having fun, his favorite thing is to store supplies in the space. Gold, silver, and jade articles are stored in Xiao Yunan's space, and the valuables he usually gets are also stored in the space. He was poisoned by doomsday novels for a while, and he also collected a lot of various materials. If it weren't for the times, if he sold his collections in the space, he would be able to live unrestrainedly here for 2 lifetimes. This set of jade green bean pendants is a bean seed. He has 3 sets, as well as ice seed, violet and other kinds. All of them came back from the jade market in Myanmar, and there are also many other jades. The spirit stone milk in the space also has the effect of improving the quality of ordinary jade. Ordinary jade can become high-quality jade after absorbing spirit stone milk for a period of time. And the reason why Xiao Yunan took a set of jade bean seeds that this world didn't have was because this set of pendants was the cheapest among his jade wares. And for future plans, he also specially took a set of jadeite jade tools that were not here. As for gold and silver, what Xiao Yunan collected were all gold and silver bricks, with XX Bank engraved on the back, and he couldn't take them out at all. Shopkeeper Zeng carefully checked one by one, took another piece of white jade to test the sound, and looked at the light outside the window to see how well it was. After half an hour, the shopkeeper Zeng put down the pendant and looked at Xiao Yunan with burning eyes. Does Master Xiao still have such jade in his hand? Xiao Yunan smiled bitterly. My husband and I are both farmers. If it wasn't for my husband's adventures when he joined the army, this would not have happened. Shopkeeper Zeng's eyes were full of pity. He stretched out 5 fingers, 500 taels. I bought this set of pendants, as well as the style of this string bean. Xiao Yunan was ecstatic in his heart, his face was still, and he said sincerely, Treasurer Zeng is so sincere, I will not take Zhou, 500 taels, and make a deal. Shopkeeper Zeng didn't expect the other party to be so straightforward, and hesitated. Is this sure it came from cleanliness? Xiao Yunan nodded, of course. I just want to steal, but I have nowhere to steal it. Shopkeeper Zeng must be more in the market than I have seen. On this point, the shopkeeper once believed in his own eyesight, and the country of Yen had never seen this kind of jade. It was precisely because he had never seen it before that the shopkeeper Zeng offered such a high price. 500 taels of silver was a huge sum for shopkeeper Zeng, and even more astronomical for ordinary people. The reason why the shopkeeper Zeng was the high price of 500 taels as soon as he opened his mouth was that he had a hunch that this young man who was called a farmer would not be a simple person, and his words and actions did not look like a farmer at all. This is the first transaction, and Treasurer Zeng also has the intention of intersecting. I need to write a deed. You can't reveal this style to others. No problem. But if it came out from the Daizhuang pavilion, then I can't be responsible. Nature. Shopkeeper Zeng got up and went to find someone to write a deed. As soon as he left, Xiao Yunan vigorously rubbed his face. I didn't expect it, 500 taels. It was worth 500 taels. He bought this set of pendants for 2,000 yuan. 500 taels of absolute maximum value. He thought it would be good to sell it for 100 taels. Of course the ecstatic Xiao Yunan could not have imagined that such a rare thing would be given as a gift, and the reward he received could not be bought for 500 taels. Not to mention how much money can be sold for the green beans launched by Daizhuanga in the name of imperial examinations and childbirth. The style of kidney beans is simple, and it can have the background of Daizhuanga. Even if other companies follow suit, Daizhuanga can make a lot of money. Speaking of which, Xiao Yunan was at a loss. But he didn't care at all. In just one cup of tea, shopkeeper Zeng came back with 2 deeds in his hand. Xiao Yunan read it again, there was no problem, he signed the deed. Yengua's characters are not simple traditional characters. Xiao Yunan can understand many characters, but he can't write them. There are also some characters that he doesn't know, so he has to guess, but he can understand most of the characters very well. Xiao Yunan's mother came from a scholarly family, and his grandfather was very researched on tea ceremony. Xiao Yunan was also nurtured since he was a child. Later, when he had space, he planted tea, fruit trees, vegetables and grain in his own space. When he was in school, he started a tea business. Later, when he went abroad, he became obsessed with wine and started a wine business with friends. Therefore, Xiao Yunan likes to drink tea and wine. The taste of the things produced by the space is naturally unparalleled. He also has a bunch of friends like this. When drinking tea, qin, chess, calligraphy and painting are indispensable hardware. Over time, Xiao Yunan has also been educated to have some coercive characteristics, and this brush calligraphy must be one of them. Looking at Xiao Yunan's words, the shopkeeper Zeng was more sure of his guess. Having been in business for decades, Mr. Zeng has his own vision. After signing the contract, shopkeeper Zeng handed Xiao Yunan a white jade plaque with a pine tree on the front and the word Zeng on the back. The shopkeeper Zeng said, every shop in Yongqiu County will have a pine tree like this. When Xiao Gongzi goes to these shops in the future, as long as he takes out this jade card, he can get the most affordable price. Xiao Yunan really didn't expect such a good thing. No wonder the big boss can do such a big business. Just look at the people under him. He is too good at being a man. Xiao Yunan clenched his fists and thank you, the shopkeeper Zeng, for the generous gift. Shopkeeper Zeng took advantage of the situation and said, if young Master Xiao has other rare items that he wants to sell in the future, please don't hesitate to choose the Daizhuang Pavilion. Of course. After being polite to each other again, Xiao Yunan embarrassedly took 10 silver ingots of 50 taels. At this time, the circulation of bank notes was not so extensive, and only merchants would use bank notes for the convenience of transaction payment. Cash exchange is also a hassle. Xiao Yunan asked the shopkeeper Zeng to exchange 50 taels of silver for 1 tael, 5 taels, and 10 taels of loose silver, as well as 3 copper coins. The shopkeeper Zeng kindly gave him a cloth pocket. Xiao Yunan put 15 taels of silver into his arms and left the butterfly pavilion with a heavy cloth pocket. As soon as he left, the shopkeeper called a reliable subordinate, wrote a letter, and asked the subordinate to take the letter and 3 string bean pendants in a wooden box to the capital. With money in hand, don't panic. Xiao Yunan, who had left the Dizhuang pavilion, bought a back basket on the street, put the cloth bag in it. The back basket was deep, and with this action, he put the cloth bag into the space. Then he went back to look for Wang Shijing with the bag on his back. Passing by the bookstore along the way, he turned in and came out with a bag of books and 3 sets of pen, ink, paper and inkstone in the back basket. In this way, Xiao Yunan saw something he wanted to buy on the way and bought it. He bought snacks and a bunch of seasonings at the grocery store. There are few kinds of food in Yanguo, but the seasonings are quite rich. The geographical location of Yongqiu County determines that the goods here are relatively complete. Xiao Yunan bought commonly used seasonings such as Chinese prickly ash, star anise, chili pepper, soy sauce, vinegar, salt, etc. After asking the owner of the grocery store, he went to the drugstore to buy cinnamon, orange peel, fennel and other commonly used seasonings he could think of, and there's something here that can serve as a condiment. Dianghua can now use soybeans to squeeze soybean oil, but it is more expensive. Xiao Yunan is rich now and has bought a lot. He was also surprised to find that there was sucrose here, but it was very expensive, and it wasn't called sucrose, it was called rock sugar. A pound of rock sugar costs 500 yuan. Xiao Yunan bought 4 caddies of rock sugar and 3 caddies of maltose. Maltose is very cheap, at 30 yuan a pound, but it is only cheaper than Xiao Yunan. As sugar that is not a necessity, most people will not buy it. He buys and buys all the way, especially when he passes by meat stalls, pork ribs, cheese ribs, pork belly, and ham meat. People who can buy meat think he runs a restaurant. When he met someone who sold apples and pears, Xiao Yunan also bought 15 of them, so he couldn't carry them on his back. These things cost 5 taels of silver, and the most expensive ones are soybean oil, meat, fruit and rock sugar. It's just too extravagant to be here. In order to survive, the farmers here grow food, and few grow fruit trees. Most of them go up the mountain to find wild ones to eat fruit. Only big families and wealthy officials would ask people to grow some fruits in their fields, which are also for their own consumption. There are not many fruits that can be sold and the prices are expensive. Here, an apple is sold for 10 cents, a pear is sold for 12 cents, and the rare peaches and oranges are even more expensive. Peaches are wild peaches, sour, oranges are sour, Xiao Yunan did not buy them. Grape Xiao Yunan did not come across any for sale. I asked the fruit vendor that there are grapes here, but Yongqiu County does not produce grapes. Only big families can get grapes, and there are very few people selling them outside. Xiao Yunan can only comfort himself, at least he can take it out in a fair and open manner in the future. There are quite a few fine grape and tea seeds in his space. Because of the sky-defying space, as long as he has seeds, he can grow high-quality vines and tea trees. In addition, he has been stimulated by doomsday remarks, and he has also frantically bought all kinds of grains, vegetables, fruits, flowers and other seeds. With seeds, land, and space, it is not difficult to plant them, but the difficulty is how to get them out. He can take a set of string bean jade pendants and say that it is the result of Wang Ishijing's adventure, but he can't say that everything is an adventure. There is something here, and he can take it out. There are both tea and grapes here. He can find more varieties, and then say that he can improve it, then he can take out the grapes and tea leaves in the space. Xiao Yunan's ultimate idea is to make money from wine and tea, which is the line he is most familiar with. Therefore, it is estimated that the act of selling jade will not happen again in the future, unless Dian also has jade. This feeling that Jin Shan can't be used is very sour. The original owner is good-looking, not handsome, please use the modern type of fresh meat. Fair-skinned and small in stature, it doesn't look like he was born in a farm, but the original owner is indeed a good farmer and has strength. But now the original owner has become Xiao Yunan, and memory is always memory, and Xiao Yunan expressed that he was powerless in many jobs. Fortunately, the original owner had some strength, otherwise he really couldn't carry the things he bought to the place where he and Wang Shijing agreed to meet. The place where the livestock was stored was crowded and chaotic. Xiao Yunan was sweating profusely while carrying a bamboo basket and holding a large can of soybean oil in his arms. Yunan. When Xiao Yunan heard the sound, he immediately seemed to see a savior. Come and help. Wang Shijing, who had returned a long time ago, walked over quickly, first took the oil tank from Xiao Yunan's hand, and then helped him unload the basket with one hand. Seeing the bag full of things, he asked, "Why did you buy so much?" What he wanted to ask more was where did the money come from? "Well, I bought a lot of things. I'll tell you when I go back. I'm exhausted." "Have you bought your things yet?" "It's all bought." "Let's go eat then. I'm hungry. After dinner, I want to go to Buzhuang again. Let's go back when we're done." "Okay." Wang Shijing lifted the basket with ease, holding the oil tank in one hand and Xiao Yunan's arm in the other. "Put the things on the car first, some people can't lose it. There are many people, pay attention to your feet." "Okay." Xiao Yunan was tired and hungry. Wang Shijing took Xiao Yunan to the storage office, and Xiao Yunan saw Wang Qing and Wang Ni who were looking up beside the car. Seeing him, the two children shouted in unison, "Daddy! Wait! My dad bought you some delicious food, and I'll bring it to you when I get home." The little faces of the two children suddenly lit up, and they were desperate. Xiao Yunan smiled, "Let's go to dinner first. Little dad will take you to a big meal." "Yunan!" Wang Shijing shouted. Xiao Yunan knew what he was thinking, and said boldly, "I'm not short of money now, let's go and have dinner at Yazangxuan." Wang Shijing and the two children were full of doubts. Wang Shijing meant that it would be fine to eat bowls of noodles or wontons on the street, but he couldn't beat Xiao Yunan, so he was dragged by Xiao Yunan into the Yizhangxian. Sitting at the table in Yazangxuan restaurant, Wang Qing and Wang Ni were still stunned. Don't talk about going to a restaurant, the two children have never eaten out when they are so old, not even a single bun. Now sitting in such a grand and luxurious restaurant for them, the two patchy children don't even know where to put their hands. The second of Yazangxuan, like the second of Dizhuang Pavilion, did not show disgust because of the clothes of the four people, nor did they prevent them from entering the door. As long as it is the person who comes in, it is the guest. If the other party really eats the overlord's meal, they will have their own way to deal with it. Because many people are illiterate, and there is no such thing as a menu in the restaurant, they all report the name of the dish. Xiao Yunan didn't let Xiao report it. He didn't know what the dish was, so he asked Xiao to serve 3 meat dishes, 3 vegetarian dishes, a pot of good tea, a pot of good wine and 2 more dishes according to the famous dishes in the store. Dim sum. Wang Qing and Wang Ni's heart thumped when they heard it. Wang Shijing tried to speak several times, but Xiao Yunan stopped him with his eyes. After Xiao Erduan brought tea, Xiao Yunan filled Wang Shijing and his 2 children with tea and said, "Brother Ishijing, you can eat at ease. If I stay, I will be a part of this family. You will work hard to support your family, and I am the same. I have a way to make money, and I have already made some money, and our life will get better and better in the future." Wang Shijing opened his mouth, and finally said, "Okay, you have your own ideas, and I won't ask more. If you need to speak, don't be polite to me. We are a family." Wang Qing and Wang Ni stared at Xiao Yunan, and Xiao Yunan smiled, "Well, we're a family now." Wang Shijing's mouth pursed tightly. Fierce Husband Chapter 8. The kitchen moved quickly, and after drinking a cup of tea, the dishes began to be served. When the first plate of stewed meat was served, Wang Qing and Wang Ni began to drool. Xiao Yunan asked for rice and a pancake, what the 2 children liked to eat. Wang Qing and Wang Ni were very cautious and didn't dare to use chopsticks. Xiao Yunan ordered, "Don't go home if you can't finish eating, start." The 2 children didn't understand the meaning of starting, but after Xiao Yunan put the dishes into their bowls and got Wang Shijing's approval, the 2 children picked up chopsticks and picked up the meat. After the first bite of meat, the 2 children couldn't hold back. Xiao Yunan greeted Wang Shijing to eat as well. He tried every dish himself and ate it up. To Xiao Yunan, the taste of the dishes here can only be regarded as very ordinary, but the original taste can be regarded as a different kind of taste. The ingredients here are absolutely natural and pollution-free. Soybean oil is high, and in order to control costs, unless it is a specific customer, the restaurant usually uses refined pork for stir-frying. Some dishes are fried with lard, while others need vegetable oil. Anyway, Xiao Yunan is hungry, so everything tastes delicious. The four of them didn't speak, and they ate a lot. Many guests who came to the restaurant for dinner looked at them suspiciously. These four people will not be eating the overlord's meal. Wang Qing and Wang Yan'ai had never eaten such a delicious meal, even during the Chinese New Year, and the two children had oil on their faces. Xiao Yunan had no choice but to say, "Don't eat too much, I can eat this kind of food every day in the future." "Dad, really?" After a meal, Wang Yan'ai put down her restraint and spoke for the first time. Xiao Yunan nodded. "My little father promised you that I will let you eat meat every day in the future. You usually eat less meat, don't eat too much, or you will have to take medicine. There is no meat to eat at all." When Wang Yan'ai heard this, she hurriedly put down the chopsticks. She had already held it up. Wang Qing also put down his chopsticks and hiccuped. Xiao Yunan was also full, and he asked Wang Shijing, "Can you wrap the rest of the meal?" Wang Shijing nodded and put the rest of the dishes into the bowl. Xiao Yunan asked Xiaoer to pack the dim sum, and then asked Xiaoer to check out. Xiaoer packed up some snacks and came to check out, a total of 1 or 2 or 3 coins, which was really not expensive for Xiao Yunan. Wang Shijing took the money into his arms, and Xiao Yunan held his hand and took out 2 taels of silver to Xiaoer. "The rest of the money will be exchanged for me in a bar." Wang Shijing glanced down at Xiao Yunan's hand, and after Xiao Yunan retracted his hand, he put it down. Xiaoer didn't expect Xiao Yunan to settle the bill so easily, because it really doesn't look like a rich person, and ordinary people would come to a restaurant to eat a lot, and it would be a luxury to eat a bowl of noodles. The wine Xiao Yunan ordered was a good wine here. Wine was originally a luxury, and Wang Shijing was not greedy for a glass and only drank a small cup. Xiao Yunan thought that he didn't seem to buy anything for Wang Shijing when he bought so many things, so he simply bought some wine. The alcohol here is low and the taste is astringent, which Xiao Yunan did not like. After Wang Shijing finished eating and the drinks were packed, the four of them left Yizangshuan in the attentive delivery of Xiaoer. Xiao Yunan didn't use the jade card given by the shopkeeper Zhang. One is that the price is really not expensive, and the other is that he does not want to give the other party the impression that he is busy greedy for cheap. He is not bad for this amount of money. It's not too late to use that jade card when they get to know each other in the future. After a big meal, Wang Qing and Wang Yan'ai obviously let go a lot. Wang Shijing took Xiao Yunan and 2 children to Buzhuang again. Xiao Yunan bought 2 pairs of shoes for himself, Wang Shijing and his 2 children, 3 more pieces of fine cotton, 2 pieces of fine satin and fine cotton. He wants to make 2 more quilts and mattresses, and of course ask someone to help. These things cost another 40 taels of silver. In Wang Shijing's view, Xiao Yunan was spending money like running water, but he didn't say a word, and it was entirely up to Xiao Yunan to make the decision. Wang Shijing was still driving back, and Xiao Yunan was protecting the 2 children from left and right in the car. Wang Yan'ai quietly grabbed Xiao Yunan's sleeve. Xiao Yunan yawned a few times. "Brother Ishii, don't rush to clean up before you go back, I want to take a nap. This body's foundation is not good, and after a series of things, the stomach is full and the spirit is weakened." Wang Shijing drove the ox cart seriously and said, "Go back to sleep, I'll clean it up." "Dad, I can also take care of it," Wang Qing said boldly. Xiao Yunan touched Wang Qing's head, and he was not polite. "Okay, if you two are sleepy, help your father clean up." Wang Qing and Wang Yan'ai had the first faint shy smiles on their faces. Halfway through, Xiao Yunan was already drowsy. Afraid that he would catch a cold, Wang Shijing had to wake him up several times. Finally persisted until he saw the entrance of the village. Xiao Yunan couldn't help falling asleep any longer. When Wang Shijing came back with an ox cart, everyone in the village paid attention. All the people in the Wang family have attracted much attention these days, and Xiao Yunan, who dared to slash people with a knife within 2 days of getting married, has attracted even more attention. Seeing so many things on the ox cart, a woman immediately shouted sourly, "Ishii, I bought so many things. Wang Shijing is just a faint, word. I met several women asking questions along the way, and Wang Shijing responded with an, Privacy is hard to come by in the village. Wang Shijing, who went out of the house, bought so many things the next day. The 2 bamboo baskets were full of things, not to mention the 5 pieces of cloth on the car. Although they were wrapped, it was impossible to tell what kind of cloth they were, but buying 5 pieces of cloth in one go was simply unthinkable in the village. Grain, sundries almost filled the car, and there was a wooden square table. Many people remembered that Xiao Yunan broke the square table in the yard of Li Jing's house, which must be paid to Li Jing's house. How can these things cost several taels of silver? The discussion followed Wang Shijing all the way. Wang Qing and Wang Ni, who were so concerned about it, were not used to and didn't like it, and Wang Ni shrank into Xiao Yunan's arms. The confused Xiao Yunan hugged Wang Ni subconsciously and yawned. Are we there? The drowsy sound of muttering soft words made Wang Shijing's hand holding the whip tighten. Ignoring the attention around him, he said, I'll be home soon. Xiao Yunan reluctantly opened his eyes, and sure enough, he saw the dilapidated house he currently lives in. As soon as Wang Shijing parked the car, Xiao Yunan couldn't wait to climb down. Yunan, go to sleep. Well, I'm going to bed, I'm too sleepy. Xiao Yunan, who was yawning, followed Wang Shijing closely, waiting for him to unlock the door. Back in the house, Xiao Yunan kicked his shoes, and without washing his hands, he took off his coat and socks, pulled the quilt and got in. Wang Shijing watched him fall asleep, then went out and closed the door. Wang Qing and Wang Ni were still beside the car, for fear that someone else would take something from the car. Wang Shijing unloaded all the things in the car into the yard, and asked the 2 children to take out the things in the 2 big bamboo baskets first. He returned the car and brought the table to Li Jing's family by the way. Wang Qing and Wang Ni didn't dare to touch the little daddy's bamboo basket, and took out all the things in the other bamboo basket first. Wang Qing moved the pots and pans to the kitchen, while Wang Ni brought in the seasonings one by one. When Wang Shijing came back, there were still many things in the yard, and the 2 children moved everything that could be moved to the kitchen. Wang Shijing quietly brought the cloth, cotton, newly bought shoes into his and Xiao Yunan's room. Xiao Yunan fell asleep and didn't move at all. Wang Qing and Wang Ni stood beside the bamboo basket with curious faces, wondering what little dad bought. Wang Shijing walked over, bent down and took out the 2 heavy wrapped paper bags at the top of the bamboo basket. Putting it on the ground, Wang Shijing asked Wang Qing to get a hatchet, cut the packaging rope and opened the thick paper bag. Wang Qing and Wang Ni exclaimed. In 2 thick paper bags, one contains 7 books, and the other contains 3 sets of inkstones and a few brushes. Wang Shijing took out another large packet of paper from the bamboo basket, opened it, and found that it was high-quality rice paper. Father. Wang Qing couldn't help but say. It's book, paper and pen. Countless times he envied his cousin Wang Zhaijing that he could read and learn to write, but he could only watch it secretly. Wang Shijing moved these things aside. When the spring of next year starts, Dad will find someone to send you to study. Father? Really? Wang Qing couldn't believe his ears. Wang Shijing raised his hand and touched Wang Qing, whose eyes were red, and said, Father will not let you and Nizi suffer in the future. Father. Wang Qing's tears flowed down, biting his mouth tightly not to let himself cry. He was too bitter and too bitter. Wang Ni burst into tears. It was too hard to live without her parents by her side. Wang Shijing took the 2 children who had suffered too much and wronged into his arms and swore, I'm sorry for you, I made you suffer. Father. Wang Qing and Wang Ni grabbed their father's clothes and cried. Wang Shijing hugged the 2 children tightly, and his body was also tense. He is most sorry for these 2 children. Don't hate your mother, it's not easy for her. Ugh. The 2 children cried out of breath. Wang Shijing patted them, don't cry, don't wake up your little dad, let's see what good things your little dad bought. Wang Qing first withdrew from his father's arms and wiped his face vigorously. Wang Ni raised her head, Dad, will my little daddy be good to me and my brother? Yes. Wang Shijing wiped his daughter's tears, your little father wants to make clothes for you and buy you new shoes. Don't care what other people say, gossip, your little father will treat you well. Wang and I got out of her father's arms, still very scared, and said, second aunt and cousin all said that my father would not want me and my brother after marrying my little father, and that my little father would beat us and scold us when he had children. Don't feed us. The depths of Wang Shijing's one eye were icy cold, and he coaxed in a not gentle voice, don't pay attention to the people in the family in the future. Dad will not want you, even if Dad has children in the future, you are still Dad's children. Your little father is not that kind of person. We will live our own life in the future, remember. Father, I remember. Wang Qing hugged her sister. Glancing at her brother, Wang and I nodded obediently and said in a low voice, Father, I remember. Rubbing the heads of the two children, Wang Shijing continued what he had just done. There is also an oiled paper bag on the paper bag where the paper is placed. Wang Shijing picked it up, and he knew what it was without dismantling it. Putting the paper bag directly into Wang Ni's arms, he said, your little dad also bought you some snacks, open it and take a look. Dessert. Wang Qing immediately helped her sister to open the paper bag, and the beautiful desserts of Xiang Nong were printed in her eyes, which attracted the exclamations of the two children. Wang Shijing said, eat one piece of each of you, and eat the rest of the night. You have enough for lunch. Wang Qing and Wang Ni impatiently picked up a piece of dessert and stuffed it into their mouths. While the two children were eating, Wang Shijing continued to toss out. A lot of meat, a lot of seasonings, how come there are still herbs? Wang Shijing also bought some meat, but definitely not so much. And apples and pears. Wang Qing and Wang Ni, who had just finished eating a snack by themselves, looked at the pile of meat, bones, and fruits, and their saliva couldn't help gushing out. Dad bought so many delicious food. Where did little Dad get the money? Is it his dowry money? The two children swallowed. Wang Shijing emptied all the things, and he looked at the two children, don't say what you bought at home and what you ate. When others ask, they say that it is eaten at ordinary homes. The two children nodded heavily. Wang Shijing first took the book and pen, ink, paper and inkstone back to the room. Xiao Yunan bought the things. Do they want to use them for the two children and arrange them after Xiao Yunan wakes up? Then, he took all the meat and stuff into the kitchen, which was almost full. Let the two children also go back to the house to rest. Wang Shijing divided the meat he bought into two, and then took it out. He was able to split the family smoothly. Li Zhang and the patriarch contributed, and their family would have to trouble Li Zhang and the patriarch in the future. Wang Shijing delivered meat to Li Zhang and the patriarch respectively, and then called forth Uncle Wang and other families to come over for dinner at night. Li Zhang and the patriarch were embarrassed to accept Wang Shijing's meat. This meat is not cheap, and Wang Shijing is a netizen, so life will not be easy. However, Wang Shijing insisted, and the two families accepted the meat, but immediately returned the gift. Li Zhang's family gave some vegetables and eggs, but Wang Shijing has no land, so he has to go to other places to buy vegetables. The patriarch Wang Wenhe also gave vegetables and eggs. These days, every family saves their eggs to sell for money, and chicken farmers also raise up to 7 or 8 chickens. At current prices, an egg can be sold for 2 cents. After delivering things, Wang Shijing went to Uncle Zhou and Aunt Zhou's house in the west of the village again, and told Aunt Zhou about making clothes and quilts. The Zhou family is considered an outsider, and there are only 2 or 3 households surnamed Zhou in the entire Xiushui village. Uncle Zhou's name is Zhou Kai, Aunt Zhou's surname is Li, and the couple have only one son, Zhou Tianbao. Zhou Tianbao had a fever when he was a child, and his brain was burnt out. Zhou Tianbao was born dark and strong, able to do farm work, that is, he had to be taken care of in his life. When Xiao Yunan said that he wanted to make clothes, Wang Shijing's first thought was to ask Aunt Zhou for help. Sure enough, Wang Shijing said that he wanted Aunt Zhou to help make the inner and outer clothes for the family of 4, as well as to make 2 quilts and mattresses, giving a total of 300 pennies. Aunt Zhou was overjoyed. My son is stupid, and the Zhou family doesn't have much land. In addition, the tax has been high in recent years, and the things sold outside are also expensive. These 300 pennies are equivalent to working outside for 20 days. Uncle Zhou and Aunt Zhou both thought it was too high, but Wang Shijing said it was not too high. There are 16 pieces of clothes for the 4 members of the family, including quilts and mattresses. It takes time and effort. If Xiao Yunan wants to do more, he will pay more. No one in their family knows how to make clothes, so they will have to come to Aunt Zhou in the future. The clothes they make must be suitable and comfortable, and they will also add some income to the couple. It is also 3 years away from home, and now Wang Shijing, who is now divorced from his family, has deepened his relationship with the villagers. A step in the relationship. Wang Shijing was so generous, making Uncle Zhou and Aunt Zhou embarrassed. They didn't help much on the day Wang Shijing moved. Aunt Zhou immediately brought some vegetables for Wang Shijing, all of which were grown by themselves, without any money. When Wang Shijing returned home, he was full of vegetables, and he didn't have to buy vegetables for 3 days. Fierce Husband, Chapter 9. Xiao Yunan slept hard. It can be said that this was the best sleep he had ever had since soul transmigration. When he woke up, the room was dark, and he pushed the door out, and someone called him immediately. Daddy. Nizi, what time is it? 2 people came out of the kitchen, Wang Shijing and Wang Qing. Xiao Yunan came back to his senses and asked again, what time is it? I seem to have slept for a long time. Wang Shijing said, it's past you sure. Are you hungry? It's okay. Then he noticed that the 3 of them were busy. Wang Ni was washing a large pot of vegetables, and Xiao Yunan rolled up his sleeves and asked, is there anyone coming to dinner at night? Wang Shijing said apologetically, I invited the people who came to help yesterday to come over for dinner, and I will have to trouble them in the future. The meat you bought will be used up a lot, and I also bought some meat to give to Li Zheng and the patriarch. Some time in the past. Xiao Yunan didn't mind Wang Shijing's self-assertion, let alone what he bought by himself. Although the 2 have no relationship as husband and wife, they still have to live together, at least for a while. Xiao Yunan said indifferently, those things are bought for use. When will they come? I'll let Brother Qing call them when the meal is ready. Seeing that Xiao Yunan didn't mind, Wang Shijing was relieved. He didn't want to take advantage of Xiao Yunan, but he didn't live in the village for 5 years before and after. In the village, when someone encounters something, the ones who take the initiative to help are all willing to communicate with each other. The people who helped him yesterday are the people he will move around more in the future. He left his family, but it was impossible for him to leave Shushui village. More contacts and good relationships would be beneficial to their family of 4. The easiest way to communicate with each other is by courtesy. Xiao Yunan said, I'll wash my face first, I'll cook dinner, I don't believe in your cooking skills. Go wash the vegetables, the water is cold, don't let the little girl touch the cold water. Chinger, help me make the fire, little girl. Play by yourself. Wang Ni immediately said, the water is not cold, I can wash vegetables, and I can do a lot of work. In her memory, she had no sense of playing. Xiao Yunan walked over and grabbed Wang Ni and took her to the kitchen. It used to be the past, now you have to get into the habit of not touching cold water. Pulling the cloth towel to wipe Wang Ni's hands, Xiao Yunan taught her, look at your hands, it's so cold, girls will easily get sick if they touch too much cold water. There will be guests at home in a while, and my father will buy some snacks. You take them out and wait for them to come and share them with everyone. In a few days, my father will go to the county town and buy them for you. Wang Ni's face flushed, and she felt that her little father was so gentle, which reminded her of her mother. Thinking of her mother, and thinking of the more difficult days for her and her brother after she left, Wang Ni couldn't help her eyes turning red. Seeing this, Xiao Yunan squatted down, what's the matter, little girl? To be honest, these 2 Wang Shijing children are really sensible and well-behaved, unlike the arrogant children he knows. Wang Ni lowered her head, held her little father's hand, and said shyly in a low voice, little father, you are so nice. Xiao Yunan smiled and pinched Wang Ni's face, well, little dad will hurt you. Okay, go get some snacks, little dad cooks. Stew big meat for little Nizi to eat. Wang Ni raised her head, revealing the innocent smile of a child. Wang Qing and Wang Shijing watched from the outside. Wang Shijing rubbed his son's head. Go and help burn the fire, Dad washes the vegetables. Wang Qing sniffed and entered the kitchen silently. Xiao Yunan patted Wang and Wang ran out of the kitchen to get some snacks. Although she was very reluctant, she listened to her little father and said that he would buy it for her in the future. Wang Shijing has steamed buns that are a mix of white flour and cornmeal. Xiao Yunan found out the seasonings that Wang Shijing had put away, took 6 eggs and beat them into a bowl. More than a dozen people have to come to eat in the evening, and the dishes have to be cooked enough. Brother Ishii, take out the wine you brought back today. Then I heard Wang Shijing, who was washing vegetables outside, shout, Nizi, take out the wine too. Hey! The little girl's voice was cheerful and clear. Sitting in front of the stove, Wang Qing couldn't help but say, Dad, when others see it, they will say it. What? Xiao Yunan looked down. Wang Qing's little face was very serious in the firelight, and it was also very embarrassing. Tell me, there are so many good things in our family. Others will gossip. Is this a good thing? The memory of the original owner in Xiao Yunan's head stimulated him. He rolled his eyes to the sky, bent down and rubbed Wang Qing's head. Little daddy and your daddy will stop other people's mouths, you can eat it with confidence. Wang Qing pursed her lips, and couldn't help but reminded in a low voice, Grandma knows, yes, I'm not happy. Xiao Yunan snorted coldly in his heart, I don't care if she is happy or not. We can't live a good life just to make her happy. She likes it or not. It has nothing to do with you, her, or their. Your father and your grandparents will write it again. The contract has been separated, and it has nothing to do with us in the future, whether we are good or not has nothing to do with them. Your father and I will take care of you, don't be afraid of them. Wang Qing raised his head and looked at his little father for a while. He lowered his head and said, heavily. The meanness of grandma, second uncle and second aunt, and the indifference of aunt and uncle are Wang Qing's nightmares. Dad is back, and now he has a little dad who looks like a very powerful man. Wang Qing prayed in his heart, praying that he and his sister would never go back to the old days. If you can't see how miserable the 2 children are in that home, Xiao Yunan is definitely blind. Wang Shijing washed the dishes and came in. Xiao Yunan put on his apron. You see what else to prepare, the kitchen belongs to me. I'm going to borrow a table. Go. Xiao Yunan picked up the kitchen knife and cut the vegetables first, then the meat last. When it was completely dark, the guests came one after another. Wang Shijing borrowed 3 tables. He not only invited the people who helped yesterday, but also the 2 sons of the Lixing family, Wang Wen and the son of the patriarch, and son Langzhong, the grandfather of the brothers son Erjiang and son Xiaojiang, who came to help yesterday. Wang Shijing wanted son Langzhong to show Xiao Yunan and the 2 children. It's not that Wang Shijing didn't invite Li Zheng and the patriarch, but it was inconvenient for the 2 of them to come forward on such an occasion today. The guests shouted, really fragrant, before they entered the yard. The guests thought it was fragrant, and the 2 children Wang Qing and Wang Ni would only think it was more fragrant. They thought that the food cooked by the little father smelled more fragrant than the food eaten in the big restaurant at noon. There were many people and it was cold at night, so Xiao Yunan didn't cook dishes one by one. 1 pot of crispy meat stewed with sauerkraut, pickled cabbage was sent by others, 1 pot of pure braised pork, 1 pot of braised pork ribs and stewed potatoes, 1 pot of fish-flavored eggplant, 1 pot of white radish, meatballs and bean sprout soup, and a pot of only stir-fried vegetables, scrambled eggs with chives. Wang Shijing was considered the owner of the house, and Xiao Yunan asked him to accompany the guests. When the dishes were all ready, Xiao Yunan divided them into 3 portions, and together with Wang Qing, brought out the dishes in pots. As soon as the dishes came out, it started to be lively outside. It's really fragrant, Ishii family, your craftsmanship is really good. This looks even better than the one in the restaurant. What kind of food is this? I've never seen it before. Ishii, you are so lucky. Every word you say to me, everyone praises Xiao Yunan's good craftsmanship, and no one asks them where they got the money to buy so much meat. Wang Shijing asked Xiao Yunan to sit beside him, and Wang Qing and Wang Ni were led away by the 4th aunt. Wang Shijing's gloom subsided a lot. He poured wine for the elders present, and said, I just came back. In the future, my family will count on my uncles, aunts, and brothers to take care of me. Wang Xing's father, Uncle Wang, immediately said, Ishijing, everyone knows what's going on in your family. There must be gossip and fun in the village, so don't pay attention, these people are indispensable everywhere. Brother and Nizi live a good life. We elders have watched you grow up and know the hardships and grievances you have suffered, as well as the hardships and grievances Chingir and Nizi have suffered. It's not easy to manage, now that you are separated, everyone will help you if you have any difficulties. Others immediately echoed, that's right, Ishii, everyone will help you in the future. Life will always get better. Wang Shijing said a little excitedly, thank you fourth uncle, thank you everyone. For this bowl of wine, I will first pay tribute to all the elders here. The elders all picked up the wine bowls and drank the wine with dignity. Wang Shijing wiped his mouth, filled himself up again, and then said, this bowl, I respect all brothers. Brother Ishii, if you have anything in the future, feel free to speak up. Wang Xing, Sun Erjiang, Sun Shaojiang, and Wang Zhuanghua, the four young men who were close to Wang Shijing, first picked up the wine bowl, and the others immediately picked up the bowl. Looking up, Wang Shijing drank again. After 2 bowls of wine, Wang Shijing sat down, picked up his chopsticks, and greeted everyone to eat. Xiao Yunan poured a little wine and stood up. Following his movements, everyone immediately stopped to eat and drink. Xiao Yunan said with a smile, Ishijing and I can be together, but it is fate. I have a straight personality. Sometimes I don't care about my temper. I hope everyone can bear it. I just arrived in the village. I don't know anything about it. If you have done something wrong, you can just tell me about it. Brother Ishii and I have nothing to say now, but there will be in the future. We will make our life prosperous. Everyone needs help. The place just comes to us. Brother Qing and Nizi, I will treat them as my own children. After Xiao Yunan finished speaking, there was a moment of silence at the scene, and Aunt Wang was the first to speak out, Yunan, Aunt C thinks you are good. You have also seen the situation of the Ishii family, Shijing, don't blame Aunt C for talking. It doesn't sound good. You really have to find a temperamental daughter-in-law like Yunan, otherwise I won't say anything else, and I don't know how much grievances Ching'er and Nizi will suffer in the future. You can also live your own life in peace. Yunan, you and Ishii have a good life, Ching'er and Nizi are very sensible babies, Ishii and the 2 children will be handed over to you. Xiao Yunan raised the wine bowl, fourth aunt, don't worry, I will definitely do what I said. I respect this bowl of wine. Everyone picked up the wine bowl, and a few young men even coaxed, sister-in-law, after this meal, brother Ishii will definitely be inseparable from you. Xiao Yunan drank the wine with a smile, during which Wang Shijing glanced at him. Xiao Yunan's cheerfulness won a lot of goodwill from everyone. After drinking this bowl of wine, everyone opened their arms to eat and drink. Wang Qing and Wang Yanai had a big meal at noon, and they kept stuffing them in their mouths. Little Daddy's cooking was better than the one in the restaurant. Wang Shijing's interest was also much higher, and Xiao Yunan's cooking skills far exceeded his expectations. It may also be that the burden in his heart is gone, and the person who remarries is not as he thought. Although he and Xiao Yunan are not yet a real husband and wife, Wang Shijing has a lot of expectations for the future. The wine Xiao Yunan bought is one of the good wines here. Everyone ate and drank enough, but Xiao Yunan didn't have such a big appetite, he was full after eating a steamed bun. When he was full, he turned his head and whispered a few words to Wang Shijing, then got up and left the table and went to the kitchen. As soon as Xiao Yunan left, fourth Uncle Wang, who was sitting on a table with Wang Shijing, whispered, Ishijing, you will be more careful in the future, don't do what you want to do like before, I think Yunan has an idea. Yes, if there is anything you need to discuss with him. This table is full of sensible people, and fourth Uncle Wang is not afraid of people spreading gossip. What he meant was actually quite straightforward, that Wang Shijing would not be oppressed and bullied by his own family in the future. Xiao Yunan was a powerful person, and it was right for Wang Shijing to listen to Xiao Yunan more. Wang Shijing nodded and said, he's good. I have absolutely nothing to do with my family now. I don't care about the family's affairs unless we get married, funerals, and marriages. You just understand. Xiao Yunan went to the kitchen to cut fruit. At night, there was big meat. He wanted to eat something refreshing. Fruit is a rarity, but it is nothing to Xiao Yunan, just buy it after eating it. While cutting the fruit, someone came in, and Xiao Yunan turned his head. 4 ants. It was Aunt Wang who came in. Seeing that Xiao Yunan was cutting fruit, Aunt Wang immediately said, "Oh, why are you still getting apples and pears? It's so expensive. Auntie knows your intentions, but don't do this in the future. When you split up, you won't have anything. I still need to save more money to build a house and sell the land." Xiao Yunan was thinking about how to explain the origin of the money, and this was just right. He said solemnly, "Brother Ishii picked up a few beautiful stones during the war, and he gave them to me. I looked at them very rare, so I wanted to see if I could exchange some money. As a result, I went to the pawn shop just in time. When I met the shopkeeper of the Dai Zhuang Pavilion, when he saw my stone, he immediately paid for it. I never thought that a few stones could be exchanged for silver. Otherwise, Brother Ishii and I would not be able to invite everyone to eat meat and drink." Aunt Wang was surprised. "Can stones be exchanged for silver? I just found out." Wang Shijing wiped his hands and took out a stone from his pocket. "I still have one left." Aunt Wang stepped forward and exclaimed, "This is a stone. Isn't this meat?" Xiao Yunan shoved the stone into Aunt Wang's hand. "You can feel it, it's a stone." When Aunt Wang took it in front of her eyes, she was extremely surprised. "This looks like a piece of boiled meat, how could it be a stone?" She touched it and took a bite in disbelief, and then sighed, "It's still what a stone." Xiao Yunan smiled and said, "That's not it, it's just stones. I sold 3 pieces, but it's not this kind of meat stone, and it's quite rare." Then, he smiled and sighed, "These stones are also from Ishii. If I had to exchange my life for it, I would be reluctant to sell it." Aunt Wang hurriedly put the stone back to Xiao Yunan and said, "Isn't that true? There is only 1 piece left, you can keep it, but don't sell it. Don't buy so much meat and wine in the future. We all know your intentions. It's not too late to buy when you get better." Aunt 4 is right. Xiao Yunan put away the half-slab-sized meat stone. Aunt Wang then leaned forward and whispered, "Don't let the people in the old house know about this stone, especially Shijing's mother, or she will have to come and ask you." Xiao Yunan continued to cut the fruit, and said coolly, "I'm not afraid of her. If she dares to ask for it, I'll let her know what the consequences will be. 4th Aunt, Brother Ishii and I will not deliberately seek trouble, but if others find me, don't do it. Blame me for being rude. We bought so many things today, there's no way they didn't know about it, they're going to make trouble." When Aunt Wang heard this, she felt even more relieved. "It's good if you can think so. I'm really afraid that you will be bullied to death over there." After a pause, Aunt Wang said hesitantly, "The one before Ishii was her temper is too soft to protect herself, not even Qin Gur and Nizi. Although she ran away with someone, everyone understands that in that house, she really can't survive. You don't either. Take it to heart, Ishii will marry you and will definitely treat you well." Xiao Yunan smiled and said, "I'm not that careful. Now that Brother Ishii has split up, we can't handle anything over there. 4th Aunt, you can tell people how we got our money, so that some people don't talk about it behind their backs. You can do it yourself, and I'll help you tell the outside world." Aunt Wang was worried that Xiao Yunan would not be easy to get along with, but now she likes Xiao Yunan a little bit. The two stayed in the kitchen for a while longer, and 4th Aunt Wang took the opportunity to tell Xiao Yunan the situation of Wang Shijing's family in detail, so that he would not suffer in the future. When Xiao Yunan and 4th Aunt Wang came out of the kitchen, they immediately attracted another applause. Everyone was happy and satisfied with the meal. We had snacks before meals and fruits after meals, which made everyone feel embarrassed. They are just a little help, but they are so grateful. There were almost no vegetables left, so Wang Shijing asked Sun Erjiang to take the remaining soup and water back, mix it in the pig food, and feed it to the pigs, and also add some oil and water to the pigs. The Sun family raised 2 pigs, and Sun Erjiang was not polite. The host and guests enjoyed themselves. Before leaving, Aunt Wang, Aunt Zhou, and Aunt Xia, the mother of Sun Erjiang, also washed the dishes and chopsticks. Xiao Yunan didn't rob them. He didn't like cleaning up after dinner. The guests were all gone, and Xiao Yunan didn't see one of the guests leaving and looked back at him one more time. Wang Shijing went to boil water to wash, and Xiao Yunan called Wang Qing and Wang Ni into the house. Fierce Husband, Chapter 10. There were no tables and chairs in the house, so Xiao Yunan asked the 2 children to sit on the kong and said, "Xiaoxiashi," and then sleep, eat a lot at night. The 2 children bowed their heads embarrassedly, but Wang Qing raised her head again boldly, and said, "Daddy's cooking is delicious." Wang Ni nodded vigorously. Xiao Yunan rubbed Wang Qing's head, very happy. He asked, "What do you 2 do during the day?" Wang Qing restrained the ease on his face and replied, "Chopping wood, feeding chickens, feeding pigs, cooking, picking vegetables, going to the fields, washing clothes." Wang Ni grabbed her brother's hand, "I wash clothes, feed the pigs, feed the chickens, set fires, and pour the ground." Xiao Yunan, who had heard a lot from Aunt Wang's side, still couldn't control her anger and asked, "Then does your cousin do this?" The 2 children shook their heads in unison, and Wang Qing said with a sullen face, "Cousin wants to study. Wang Jisong doesn't care." Wang Qing and Wang Ni shook their heads again, and Wang Ni said timidly, "Uncle wants to study. Go read. That family is a bunch of bastards. The children in the countryside are early masters, but they are all grandchildren. Wang Qing and Wang Ni have to work all day, but the kid who is older than Wang Ni does nothing. Wang Ni is only 4 years old. The hands of the 2 children are not as rough as a child should have." Just now, Dr. Sun took the pulse of the 2 children and said that the 2 children are weak and must be taken care of, otherwise they will have problems in the future. If Nizi continues like this, it will affect future fertility. He had never met Wang Shijing's nephew, but just thinking about his sister-in-law, he could guess that the kid must be similar to a pig. That wonderful old couple abused the elder and the younger. If Wang Shijing didn't resolutely separate the family, he would definitely write a divorce letter to him. Xiao Yunan, who had been spoiled by his grandparents and grandparents as his sweethearts, once again despised Mrs. Wang and Mr. Wang in his heart. Xiao Yunan went on to say, "I will still let you do what you can do in the future, but I won't let you do as many things as you did before." After speaking, he took 2 copybooks and said, "From tomorrow onwards, the 2 of you practice calligraphy according to the copybook first, and my little father will teach you how to hold a pen first. There are a lot of things at home recently, and when the busy work is over, my little father will teach you to practice calligraphy and reading. Younger brother wants to learn, and Nizi also learns." Wang Qing's eyes were bright, and Wang Ni was also very surprised. "Can I learn too?" "Of course. Little dad also doesn't know a lot of words. I'll learn it with you." One person said, "I also learn." It was Wang Shijing who came in at an unknown time. Xiao Yunan raised his eyebrows. "Of course you have to learn, you are the head of the family." Wang Shijing came over, picked up Wang Ni and sat down, let Wang Ni sit on his lap, and said to Xiao Yunan, "The farming will be busy soon, and after the farming is done, we have to prepare for the winter, and then it is the Chinese New Year, everyone is not free. When the spring starts, I will find someone to send Qing Gur to study. It's only September, and the farmers are already busy." Thinking about it, Xiao Yunan said, "Then I will teach them to learn calligraphy when I'm done. I don't need to send Qing Gur to study. Next year's spring youth brother will be 7 years old. Now, sending him directly to a private school will cost more money at most. If Nizi is concerned, she still needs to find a female teacher to teach her." Suddenly thinking of one thing, Xiao Yunan asked, "Is there any place to teach girls how to learn the piano? Learning the piano is just a hobby, any time sooner or later." As soon as she heard the piano, Wang Ni's eyes also brightened. Wang Shijing glanced at his daughter and said to Xiao Yunan, "I don't know, I can go and find out. Nizi is still young, you can teach her to read first, and you can find a girl who knows how to read. You can also send her to learn embroidery first. She will know how to work when she grows up. I know that girls from big families will go to school. Xiao Yunan shook his head. If Nizi likes to find someone to teach her in the future. She is young now, and embroidery is not good for her eyes. Alright. Xiao Yunan then went back to the main topic. Brother Qing, Nizi, each of you take a set of the 4 treasures of the study and copybooks, and start learning Chinese characters from tomorrow. You are not allowed to be lazy or complain. I will hit the palm of whoever is lazy and complaining. Dad, I won't be lazy, I want to learn. Wang Qing almost shouted. I also want to learn. After reading the book, my grandmother and second aunt won't beat me and scold me, and cousin Jing won't bully me. Wang Ni's childish words made Xiao Yunan a little sad, and Wang Shijing's expression became more gloomy a few points. Look at your good relatives. Giving Wang Shijing such a look, Xiao Yunan said, okay, I believe you can persevere. Now, take your things into your house and go to wash. Wang Yanai jumped off her father's lap, and with the help of her little father and her father, she and her brother happily brought the 4 treasures of the study and the copybooks to their house. After the 2 children washed up carefully according to the little father's request, they went to bed holding the copybook baby and touched, looked and looked. Xiao Yunan took a shower and went back to the house. He still had things to do. Wang Shijing boiled another pot of water, but he didn't see anyone for a long time. Sitting cross-legged on the Kong and writing on the low Kong table, Xiao Yunan said that he would have to enter the city at the latest the day after tomorrow to buy a desk, which would be too distorted to write. Just thinking about it, the door opened, Xiao Yunan raised his head subconsciously, and almost didn't come up in one breath. Wang Shijing obviously just took a shower. He didn't wash his hair was loose, his upper body was naked, only a cloth towel was placed over his shoulders, and his lower body was a pair of coarse cloth pants. The water droplets that were not completely wiped off ran along the chest along the 8-pack abs and disappeared into the waistband of the trousers. Xiao Yunan's mouth was dry. 1, 2, 3, 4. It was really 8. For a pure 0, a tall, sturdy body with several scars and a strong masculinity is simply a naked temptation. Wang Shijing's figure is considered tall in Xiushui village, and he is more like a pure northern man in terms of body and face. In contrast, Wang Tianyan is short and fat, and looks a little more like Wang Lao. Wang Jisong had never seen it before, so he didn't know. In fact, if you look closely, Wang Shijing looks a bit like old man Wang, but he is more like a genetically mutated variety. As soon as he came in, Wang Shijing closed the door immediately, and then got on the Kong to rummage through the suitcase on the head of the Kong. Wang Shijing also has several scars on his back, and those scars can tell how close he was on the battlefield. Wang Shijing put on his jacket, and when he turned around, he saw Xiao Yunan staring straight at him. Wang Shijing lowered his eyes, wiped his wet hair roots with a towel, got off the Kong, and went out again. Xiao Yunan's eyes chased out uncontrollably. Damn, definitely deliberately seduce him. Taking a deep breath and suppressing the eagerness in his heart, Xiao Yunan patted his face, calm and calm. He has been in office for 26 years, and now this body is only 16 years old, and he should definitely be able to hold it back. I really can't see how good a figure is. Looking down at what he just wrote, Xiao Yunan shifted his attention. At this time, Wang Shijing came in again, holding an old wooden box in his hand, which looked quite heavy. Yunan. Xiao Yunan raised his head reluctantly, and his heart was still agitated. Wang Shijing sat on the Kong and put the wooden box on the Kong table. You keep it. What? Xiao Yunan moved the paper and inkstone away. You keep the things you brought back from the war. Wang Shijing put a copper key into Xiao Yunan's hand. Xiao Yunan only felt that the skin he touched was hot, and the other's hand was really hot. Something brought back from the war. Xiao Yunan looked at the key in his hand, blinked, he opened the copper lock on the box, opened the box, he whispered and looked up at the other party. These are yours. Wang Shijing nodded and said calmly, the court has no money, and the army does not pay much. The general tacitly allows us to keep some of the seized money privately. This is the army's salary that I kept privately and saved. After a pause, Wang Shijing avoided opening Xiao Yunan's gaze. The corvée for those 2 years also had some money. Except for my mother, I left it to Qingdir's mother. Xiao Yunan suddenly didn't know what to say, and warm currents rose in his heart. There are a lot of gold and silver jewelry and jade jewelry in the wooden box. There are more than a dozen large and small silver ingots, as well as broken silver and copper coins, and 10 gold ingots, which are also of different sizes, not to mention jewelry. Xiao Yunan estimated that there are thousands of gold and silver alone. Sure enough, no matter what the world is, rich people exist. Xiao Yunan's smile flashed blinding eyes. These silver coins are all military pay. Wang Shijing looked back at Xiao Yunan again. No. The army's pay for 3 years adds up to a dozen or two. The general I followed was brave, seized a lot of silver, and killed several bandits in the mountains, so I could leave more money. I pawned some jewelry and exchanged it for silver. After a while, he still said truthfully, the rest of the jewelry was originally meant to be left to Qin Gear's mother. Now I'm divorced with his mother, what do you think about these jewelry? Xiao Yunan closed the lid of the box and asked, do you hate your ex-wife? Wang Shijing shook his head, I don't hate her. She is too bitter. She is a kind-hearted woman, and she is diligent, but in my family, her life is not easy, especially when I am not around, it is even more sad. I am right, don't live with her. So do you love your ex-wife? Xiao Yunan swallowed this sentence, and asked curiously, how did you collect these things, and they haven't been discovered? Wang Shijing clenched his fists and said in a low voice, I didn't bring it home, I found a place to hide before returning to the village. Children can be taught. My parents don't like me, and they don't even like the Song family and their 2 children. I can still protect her when I'm here. When I'm not here, she has a soft temper and life is even more difficult. If she wants to leave, I'm also willing to let her go. Yunan, I used to be involuntarily, but now, I have separated my family, you are my daughter-in-law, and you will be in charge of the family in the future. Speaking of these things, Wang Shijing's expression was very calm. It can be seen that he has long been chilled by his family. He didn't even have the slightest resentment for Song's leaving home. Xiao Yunan didn't realize that he blushed because of the other parties, you are my daughter-in-law. He suddenly didn't dare to look directly at Wang Shijing's one eye, and pretended to ask casually, you gave me all your belongings, so you won't be afraid of me running away. We've only been married for a few days. As for Wang Shijing's ex-wife, Xiao Yunan, I have no idea. You will not. How do you know I won't? Xiao Yunan raised his eyes unconvinced, but fell into a deep eye, and his heart beat a little faster. I know you won't. Wang Shijing said seriously, you are capable. I am ruined, I am blind, and I have 2 children. I am not worthy of you. This marriage, you are wronged. Xiao Yunan mumbled subconsciously, I'm not a woman, so what's wrong with me? It's just right for you to have a child, so I don't have to give birth. Bah bah. What's the deal with having a baby? Xiao Yunan embarrassedly changed the subject, why didn't you ask me where the money came from today? Wang Shijing glanced at Xiao Yunan's red earlobe, and said, I believe that your money is coming. If you want to tell me, just tell me. If you don't want to tell me, I won't ask you more. After a while, he Dao, there are also people in the village who joined the army, but they are not with me, but they know that there is military pay. I am the eldest son, and I have no family division, so I can't keep it myself if I have money. I originally wanted to give my parents some money, but I came back and saw Qin Gur and Nizi are like that, and the Song family is gone again, so I said that the military salaries are all used to treat the wounds. If the family is divided, I will buy land and build a house, and the family will make trouble again. Now you say that it is selling stones the money earned, even if others are curious, it is not easy to ask how much it sold, and the money can be used. I will be busy with farming soon. I want to buy some land and renovate the house, otherwise the winter will be difficult. Wait. We will start a new house in the spring. Xiao Yunan thought that Wang Shijing was a stuffy gourd like Wang Dali, but he didn't expect this person to really tell you things, and his sentences were very clear. The most important thing is that he is not a foolish person. No matter what age, there are many people who are ignorant and filial, and a man who can have his own ideas in the ancient society of feudal thinking and take care of his children's family is really a good man. But this is also the luck of this era. There is no Dong Zhongshu who rejected 100 schools of thought and respected only Confucianism. Although there are thoughts similar to Confucianism, it is generally considered to be an enlightened era when all kinds of thoughts are feasible in the world. Dian also advocated filial piety, but it was not the terrifying period when filial piety developed to the point of deformity and could kill children at will. Clans and families exist and have certain powers, but they are still restricted by the law. Allow the father to be unkind and the son to be unfilial. Otherwise, how could Wang Shijing exchange marriage for freedom? If your parents ask you to marry you, you have to marry him. If he dares to split his family, he will not beat you to death. And Xiao Yunan was so arrogant that he had been beaten to death long ago, and he and his family had to decide. Wang Shijing was forced to get married, but now he has given all his savings to him, a man who has only been married for 3 days. Since this person is married, he will trust him, and he really wants to live a good life. Xiao Yunan had never encountered such a person in modern society. If Xiao Yunan was irritable when he first came to think of this marriage and this unfamiliar husband, now he can deal with this unfamiliar marriage calmly. Xiao Yunan pulled the pocket where he was carrying the money and opened it. Wang Shijing's one-eyed was obviously surprised. After a cursory look, there were hundreds of taels of silver. He never expected that Xiao Yunan would have so much money. It must not have been given by the Xiao family, it must have been earned by selling stones. When will you be able to sell so much money? Xiao Yunan opened the box and put all the silver in, leaving only the copper coins. Wang Shijing's one eye flickered. Xiao Yunan looked at him and said, "Take off the blindfold at home, it's not uncomfortable to wear." Wang Shijing clenched his jaw and said in a deep voice, "It will scare you." Xiao Yunan said angrily, "I'm a big man who is still afraid of the scar on your face." Wang Shijing looked at Xiao Yunan deeply, raised his hand and took off the blindfold. It was the first time Xiao Yunan saw Wang Shijing's injured eyes. The scar came down from the center of Wang Shijing's left eye. There was some dirt in the corner of Wang Shijing's left eye, and it didn't seem to be in good shape. Seeing Xiao Yunan's calm expression, Wang Shijing sighed in relief. Xiao Yunan asked, "Can't you see it at all?" Wang Shijing said in a low voice, "It's dark, and the military doctor said it's useless." Xiao Yunan felt a little uncomfortable. He got out of bed, put on his shoes and went out. Wang Shijing watched him leave, and the blindfold in his hand was deformed by him. Xiao Yunan went to the kitchen. After closing the door, he used his mind to take some spiritual spring water into the wash basin. There was only 1 drop of spiritual milk all day, and Xiao Yunan didn't plan to use it. In the basin, he scooped 2 scoops of water from the water tank, and put some spiritual spring water in the water tank. Xiao Yunan took a cloth towel and went out.